All right, we are live. 12:44 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. A little bit later than I wanted to today, to be honest with you. A little bit later because the baby decided to not go to sleep right now, not for a while. So unfortunately, I had to wait. But all right, we are live. All right, make sure that looks good. We're fine there. All right. Post that to the Facebooks and the Twitters. What's up, guys? Yeah. I said I'm going to be doing more of these night shift stuff because this is now where my life is for at least the next 6 months or so, which is fine. Just got the baby down. It's entirely possible she'll wake up again, in which case I'll have to go get her. Okay, she she ate a little bit behind schedule tonight. Usually she's asleep by now, and I just got her done. So anyway, what's up, Accelerator? What's up, Crow Asia? Have I set return of my shoe step and ways? I remember that one, but I don't remember everything to do with that. Wolfire will probably upload the stream will be up. I need to re-upload these to another channel or something. The reason why I don't post them, why usually the ones I do just go private, is because I don't want thought I heard some. I don't want to clog my feed because I post so much content. It's an unfortunate side effect. So what's going on, Void? What's going on, DKJ Spect? The graveyard shift is probably a better way to describe it, considering I'll be up to 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. So Jeeves, I'm sorry, man. I was going to start it about an hour ago, but the baby got fussy, so I had to feed her, take care of her. So Shark, you're watching this stream while you're playing Doki Doki Literature Club. That's awesome, man. I don't know what the fuck that is, but I'm happy you're playing it. So baby pics, or she was never born. Tara, you know for a damn fact I post baby pics not only on my Twitters but also my personal Facebook, of which we are friends. So is Vadim gonna be here tonight? No, I don't think I'm gonna have Vadim on. I like Vadim. That was an interesting conversation. I don't think he was high or drunk. I think he was legitimately tired. And when you are legitimately tired, as evidenced by the raccoon eyes that he had, I think he says some stuff. And again, I like Vadim, but that was an interesting conversation towards the end because I just couldn't there wasn't much I could really do about that. So, hey, what's going on, Vaslav? How are you, buddy? You haven't missed anything yet. But then again, if Vadim is on, I need to get more people than just Vadim, right? I need to get more people. Repsion was here, and then he fucked off because he had to go to bed, so he didn't say goodbye. So there's that, and I like Repsion a lot. I thought that was an interesting conversation we were having. And then I'm like, oh, I'll bring Vadim on, and then 3 hours later, no. I'll give him a hard time, but I think he's a good guy. That's why I keep telling him, don't touch the poop. Don't touch the poop, Vadim. Don't do it. You touch the poop, they win. Which essentially is, I think, going to happen. But look, either that, it ain't my problem, so to speak. So I'm okay with it. Ice Zombie, the baby's good. I'm listening. She squeaks a lot, so if I get a text or phone call from my girlfriend yelling at me, then I know she's awake. But she should be passed out. I fed her 4 ounces. I changed her. I soothed her. I burped her. I got her cuddled and everything else. Hopefully she'll go down. So, other than that, it's doing okay. How do I feel about having my audience on from time to time? Tony, I'm not against it. I need to do more with that, but keeping it the problem with having the audience on, and this is not aimed at anyone individually, is that you get people that will be like, I want to go on. And you're like, all right, cool. Here's a link. like when I do a patron hangout, which I'm like fucking super behind on, and they'll come on in, and then it's like they won't say anything, and so you're sitting there like you're trying to like guide this conversation with people that aren't, again, nothing against them, but they're not like super, either they're not super into it or they're just not really completely ready to talk. They're just like they're not in that right space. Whereas people who do YouTube, we talk all the fucking time. Like we talk all the goddamn time. Like I've taken many years of acting classes. I've been in my own feature film. I've been in other short films. I've done podcasts. I've done web series. I've done short films. I can talk. That's not a problem. So bringing me on, it won't be much of an issue. Now, I will fully admit that, like, when I, let's say, go on The Drunken Peasants or something, it's a different dynamic. When I go on The Drunken Peasants, these are 4 people that know each other really well, and they play off each other really well. So I have to like learn how to interact with them, as I'm assuming that many other people have to learn to interact with the rest of us. And so it's a weird scenario. You dominate conversations and no one invites you back. Yeah, you get on, Tara, you get on a DM like just sprees on Facebook, and I have trouble keeping up sometimes because you get, what's the word I want to use? Determined. No, you're awesome. Yeah, Drunken Peasants, RIP, exactly. DKJ, you want to know what you can do to demotivate my opinion on Vadim? The best way to demotivate my opinion on Vadim is super chats. No, I'm totally kidding. I like, look, dude. Here's the thing. No one is perfect. No one is perfect at all. People fuck up all the time. People make dumb, stupid comments all the time. People are going to make mistakes. How many times have I made mistakes? How many snaps and videos have you seen? How many dumb things have I said? It happens all the time. So you're passionate, Tara. Yes. Yeah, you're passionate. Oh no, I can hear her. Come on. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. I can hear her kind of fussing. Hopefully my girlfriend will pick her up and lay with her until she gets really fussy, gets hungry again. She's not. She's in the mode where she wants to be held. But I'm waiting. I'm hoping. Give us 4 gives us snaps for traps. Snaps for traps. Your best video was the one you uploaded completely without audio. Entropy, I've done that before. I've done that. Like, here's the thing. I've posted almost 5,000 videos, or about 4,500 videos. And as a result of posting that many videos, I put out a lot of fucking content. Mistakes happen. I don't have an editor. I don't have a proof watcher. I don't pre-watch things before I post them. I don't have the time. Where like Philly D will do a vlog and he'll be like, oh yeah, look, we sit down and we're going to like pre-watch the video. I'm like, you got a crew, man. You've got a crew of people that you can do that with. I'm just one pendejo. So there's that. Vadim was being exceptionally retarded. Vadim was exceptionally tired. So I take the retardation level and I kind of have to like even it out a little bit because he was exceptionally tired. Again, that might just be me kind of half explaining away my friend, but at the same time, I unless you're being like willfully malicious over something and actively trying to hurt somebody, I'm usually going to give you the benefit of the doubt for being a dumbass. So that one guy, thank you very much, man. Yeah, that one tech guy. I like what I do. I love what I do. I wouldn't do it every day if I didn't. The downside to it is, and there are plenty of downsides, is ultimately the biggest one is just like time investment, because of the nature of what I do. I don't get to take a lot of time off. But there's also at the same time a compulsion to keep going. And that compulsion tends to get me in more trouble than anything else, like, because what I'm always prepping for in the back of my head is like, let's say I'm on a roll, video views are up, subscription counts are up, money is coming in at a steady rate. I'm thinking to myself, I could take a day or two and it won't hurt me 100%. Like, it won't be that bad. I can take a little bit of time. And then my brain kicks in and it goes, wait, but hold on a second. If you lose this momentum you have, getting it back is going to be a bitch. Two, you're trying to prep money right now coming in that you can then put aside for when you're sick or put aside for repairs or other things that you need to do. Cause like right now, so just last week, all right, so you guys know like the car was stolen on Christmas night. Okay, so there's that. So that sucked. So I just spent $500 to basically get the car out of impound to ditch it. We've been running our heater or our gas heater, our gas stove, because it's, winter in Washington. That went out. I was able to get a service call out for about $165, get that fixed. My sump pump for my crawl space just decided to start acting up the other day. So I have to get a service guy to come out for that. That's going to be another $165 for just the service call, not including the parts on whether or not if it requires a new pump. And then of course there's everything else included. So it's kind of like the way I view it is kind of like, oh my God, there's like a lot of expenses. So my brain kicks in and goes, all right, this is how you tackle this. Like you have to just keep working and keep putting out content in order to be able to meet those goals, in order to then take care of your family. So that's kind of how I view it, like a milestone sort of thing. Now, here's the tricky part. What I talk about, or what I do, is I'll go and I'll look at like what's trending, what's popular, what are key topics, things like that. And then I spend a fair amount of time kind of pining over which ones to talk about. And then I'll do it. And the goal obviously is to get to a 10-minute video because it's 10 minutes or bust. That's how you maximize your revenue. You don't always get that. You don't always get that because some stories don't get you there. Even if you're like, if I was reading the article, some stories won't get me there. But ultimately, even reading the article to me at this point just feels kind of lazy-ish, like I don't feel like it's weird. That's kind of where I'm at with that. Even though on $3 Theater, I'm going to start doing a live stream where I go through a bunch of articles and then snippet those out in order to beef that channel up. So basically what I'm trying to say is that it's like the apocalypse fucks you, case in point, end of story there, because depending on the viral ability of a story, you may not earn shit. Like everything I've done Logan Paul related has been completely fucked by YouTube. And that is not a coincidence. The videos have done very well. They should have pulled in a decent amount for January, pulled in shit because of that. So when that happens and I post, when I post a video that gets over 100,000 views and makes less than $17, I can't live off of that. So it's that whole, the compulsion to keep going, the compulsion to keep trying. And it is like a scatter shot. You're just going to keep trying until you make it. You might get a couple that do really well, and those make up for all the other ones that don't. And that is, I'm not even kidding when I say this, that is the legitimate problem with being a full-time YouTuber in this capacity. Whereas if I was posting videos and they were getting views like Chris Reagan or Sargon of Akkad, I could take more time because I'd have that buffer coming in. At this point, it's skin of my teeth is the survivability of everything. And I'm not complaining. I'm not trying to like sit there and go, oh, woe is me. This is a life I chose. This is a career I chose. And if YouTube would stop fucking me constantly, it wouldn't be a problem, right? Like I get, if I make enough just to get by right now, if they would stop fucking me over everything, when all 3 of my videos get demonetized for 2 days, I don't make any fucking money. I'll do, like I said, 100,000 views, $17, it fucks you. So anyway, I'm just saying it's like, there's a dedication, there's a commitment, and I love what I do, but there are factors of that come into play that will ultimately, there's a dark side to it. There's an absolute fucking dark side, and people talk about it, but they never I don't think they ever go through the nitty gritty. So if YouTube was fucking me constantly, Pornhub would pay for the footage. Yeah. No, that's 100% true, man. If it's 100% true. Let's see. Shadow said, do I think that even with the BS, people should try YouTube or Twitch? Well, the problem with Twitch is you're building an audience on a platform that has a lot of people that aren't always looking for a new audience. And so I look at Twitch very similar to how I look at YouTube. You would have to constantly be streaming 4 or 5 hours a day, 5, 6 days a week. You'd have to pick key times when it had to be like the afternoon and evening. Like I'm talking from like 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time until like 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to get through the evening rush or the afternoon to evening rush of people. You'd have to be personable, be entertaining, be able to carry on a conversation by yourself, make the gameplay interesting, and not just constantly go, oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, my God, this game is always fucking me. The controls are horrible. Watch me do it. I'm a pro fighter. You can't be DSP. But at the same time, DSP has made a career for himself. So can't really complain. So anyway, basically, I'm just saying that you can do it, and I do believe you can do it. But if you're coming into this game with the expectation of earning money, you will be waiting a while. And that's not to say that it can't be done, and it can be done. Like take $3 Theater, for example. I started that 11 months ago. I've got just over 16,500 subs on there. I don't work on it as much as I want to. And that channel carried me over last month, what I needed, like by a lot. So that carried me over a bit. And so again, that's been a channel, I work on occasionally, but it's again, playing a niche. Like the problem with Mundane Matt, the honest to God problem with my channel is I'm not focused in terms of the content that I cover. If I was strictly gaming and tech, I could make it work. If I was strictly like anti-feminism and anti-social justice warrior stuff, I could make it work. Not so much anymore. 2016 would have been the golden year for that. But it's picking a niche, whatever you want to call it, and going in that direction. Whereas what I do is so different. I'm playing upon those. I'm playing the law of averages. Will this do well? Will this get in the algorithm? Will people watch it? And you'd be amazed at how many things I talk about that are like trending on Twitter, trending in Google, Google's algorithm. Can't get shit. Can't get views. They don't even do 10,000. And it's very, very, very interesting as to what people will watch. So it's a hard thing. Carl here says, if you have an existing audience on YouTube, getting them to transition over would be a pain. One of my clients has 41,000 subs on YouTube, and we did discuss our live streams. It would be on Twitch. The thing with that is you could, getting people over from YouTube to Twitch in terms of watching a live stream is going to be difficult. And it's not even necessarily going to be the best thing for you. You would be able to get some people over. Like right now, I've got 158,000 subscribers and I have 138 people watching. And no point is that a negative. I'm so happy you guys are here. I also started later on in the day. And the predominant viewers of my content are from California and Texas. So California, it's 1:03 in the morning. In Texas, it's 2:03 or 3:03 in the morning. So starting later in the evening is only going to pull in so many. It's all about timing and like thumbnails and titles and tags and all of these things. Now, again, it's part of the game. So if you were going to bring some people over from YouTube to Twitch, you'd have to start slow. You'd have to realize that not all of them are going to come over. In fact, only a small amount are going to come over because, quite frankly, only a small amount are going to see those videos in their sub box of you promoting your Twitch because of the YouTube unsub glitch, because it doesn't show up in people's timelines. I posted a video last night or whatever that didn't even get pushed through to Twitter for 96 minutes after it was posted. Right? That shows you how slow the process was at putting out the content in people's sub boxes. And so what the key there is you want to get like direct connection with your audience. So honestly, mailing lists are making a comeback. I just don't want to pay MailChimp. So there's that, I just don't want to pay them the money because it's a lot of money depending on how many people you send emails out to. So it's an issue. It's an issue. So so yeah. Who is from California? Who is from Texas here in the stream? I don't know. I'm in Washington right now, but that's looking at my analytics. It tells me that. So honestly, you want more non-overproduced people just talking about things they like. I'm really bored of people talking about what's popular over talking about what they like. Well, here's the thing with that, Jeeves. I understand your point. I do. I understand it. Like me talking about movies, something that I like, it just happens to also be popular. Like let's say if it's Star Wars or Marvel and stuff like that. So the two kind of go together. They go together, right? But otherwise, a lot of it boils down to exposure, and you want people to find you. So you have to talk about these key things. You have to talk about these issues that everyone else is talking about. Yes, it may appear to be oversaturation, but if you can nail it early enough and good enough, and you get in there as it's swinging up in the algorithm, all of a sudden a lot more views are on you. And if people like what you have to say and they like how you are, then they might click subscribe, and that's how you grow. So you talk to anybody out there about like growing your channel, and they're going to all tell you the same fucking thing. Trends, get in on the trends. Like fidget spinners last summer, big fucking trend. Nerf is a constant when it comes to trends. So people do that. But I agree with your point. Oh wait, sorry, did I see like the motivator is in here? No, hey, what's up, man? I'll add you up. I mean, I don't know you very well. I mean, I know you. So am I hyped for Infinity War? Come on, man. Come on. I'm more hyped for Infinity War than I am for Solo, I'll tell you that. Chelsea Manning running for Congress. Why you're getting Brianna Javu? I think the key thing with Brianna, Chelsea Manning running for Congress is she's not going to get in because she'll be privy to secrets, classified information potentially, and we all know her track record with that one. When the STD reviews, man, I gotta watch Star Trek Discovery. I gotta watch this. I haven't even seen the last episode of the first half of the season. I have Amazon Instant, so I can watch the episodes. I just haven't really wanted to. I enjoy the show, but I'm just waiting for a few episodes to kind of pile up. So, hey, what's going? So there's essentially, like a lot going on with that. So I've done like TV reviews on the channel. You'd be amazed at how hard those are to keep up with, right? Like, I was trying to do like 5 a week. I was trying to do like, the Orville, South Park, Star Trek, The Gifted, and Inhumans. And if you miss a week or something, and I went and I missed a couple things because I was busy, it's so hard to get back into it. Where I kept up with the Orville and I kept up with South Park. And by the end of the season of Orville, the views on the reviews were just low. Were just completely low. People weren't watching. And partly, I think, because I wasn't posting them in a specific group. So Chelsea Manning is not going to do well as a state senator or congressman. She's far too emotionally and mentally unstable for that. And I know what you're thinking, like, no, she went through everything she went through, she'll be great. But because she went through everything she went through, and based upon her Twitter activity, she'd be trying to push resolutions through the Congress by using emojis, right? Like it's just I don't think she has the mental capacity to do it. So haven't watched any mainstream media since going online. Why would you? Well, Gabriel Swift, mainstream media is still where the news generally tends to come from. It's our job, I think, as commentators, to disseminate that information and provide our opinion, but we ultimately still pull from the same source. Do I think Solo is going to bomb? It's entirely possible. Deadpool is going to open super large. It's still coming 2 weeks off of Avengers Infinity War. And those two movies in the theater at the same time as Solo is going to really siphon away. If Disney already has written off Solo, that might be one of the reasons why Deadpool moved to a week ahead of it. So I'm not speaking for Chelsea. I'm just telling you my impersonation of it. Mr. Shadow, I haven't seen Happy yet. I need to. What's up, John Blair? How are you, buddy? CNN is a joke. CNN has its moments, but I think Jake Tapper shutting down Stephen Miller last week was pretty fucking funny. Male feminists are worse than Stalin. I don't know if I go that far. Midnight Fox, I'm pulling the midnight shift because I've got a 6-week-old baby that I have to feed and change in the next couple hours. Ben lost access to the Drunken Peasants Facebook. I did not know that. I didn't know that at all. Is it the, let's see, Drunken Peasants are still there. It appears that I don't know. I haven't posted anything in a while, so I don't know what's going on with them. Yeah, I don't know. I don't watch every episode, so I'm not up on the drama. I'm not up on the drama anyway, everybody. I don't know what's going on. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. So let's see. Oh, fuck, I lost where I was on the damn thing. There we go. Chris Chan 2020. Yeah. Wait, Rick Grimes. If I follow you on Twitter, of which you've kind of been annoying, you want me to you would $500 super chat for a follow. Yeah, right. That's funny. You don't think that Chelsea Manning is anywhere near as loopy as Brianna Wu? That we agree on. Monday Nat Little Blue Skull Guy 2020. Yeah. Matt doesn't want to get this when it comes to a good political candidate. You have to explain your opinion on this one, Tim. Because I think if you start talking about Brianna Wu or Chelsea Manning as a good candidate, I'm just going to answer you the way Al Borland would Tim Allen on Home Improvement. I don't think so, Tim. So, okay, I'll check. I'll check the Drunken Peasants Facebook page. Apparently, I've liked. How come I've never seen a post from them? All right, so, okay, I can confirm that an unfortunate disagreement between Ben and I has disrupted our podcast. The parties have agreed to mediate the dispute and I hope that we are able to reach a resolution quickly. While I'm not at liberty to comment on the details of this legal matter, I personally commit to resolving this matter in a professional and ethical manner that is within our community's best interest. I want to thank the Drunken Peasants community and each one of you all for your support during this difficult time. And I promise to do my best to keep you updated on the legal process. Wow, Jesus Christ. Have they really, wow, that's crazy, man. Chelsea's not got this. She's not got this, Tim. I don't think so, Tim. I think you're wrong. Chelsea doesn't have a grasp of emoji culture either. So she's probably the reason why it was the Emoji Movie was screened in Saudi Arabia. So hey, Gabriel Swift, thank you very much for the £5. Appreciate it. So oh man, I feel bad for Drunken Peasants. I really do. I feel really bad for them because they had such a good thing going. I know they went their own way creatively, and I haven't watched. I tried watching the first episode of Deep Fried Fat or Deep Fat Fried, whatever the fuck the new show is called. I don't even know. Like that is how little that show has had an impact on me. Is I can't even remember the name of the show, and I should have it up here. Deep Fat Fried. Okay. Let me just bring this up here. Like I keep forgetting the name. Honest to God, I'll probably watch it later on. And again, I have nothing against TJ, their new show, whatever. It's just I tried watching it and ultimately it didn't really impress me. So there's definitely, I don't know if the Tim Allen episode just didn't impress me. So, I am trying to lose weight. But 5 pounds, it's not the same thing. It's called Big Fat Dudes Dropping a Big Fat Pod Turd. That would be too long of a title, and I don't think Amazon would take it. The second one's a lot better. Okay, I'll give the second one a watch. I definitely just like a stew, a good podcast takes time. It's like a slow burn, like fucking cereal, which by the way is a very good thing. Do I think Disney would bring back Last Man Standing now that they bought Fox? That's a good question, actually. Well, I know there's a petition from Last Man Standing fans that are going after Disney for bringing back Roseanne, but not bringing back Last Man Standing. All things considered, I think Last Man Standing, if they want to end Last Man Standing, I am okay with that. What I want as a fan of the 6 years that show was on the air, or the 6 seasons, and I watched every episode. I would watch Saturdays on Hulu. I'd wake up in the morning and I'd watch Last Man Standing because I fucking loved that show. I was disappointed with how it ended. I want a proper finale. It's not that the show is any loose ends, but at the same time, you've spent 6 seasons with this family. You want there to be a proper conclusion. This is one of the reasons why people aren't trusting network television and why they're going to Netflix. For one, Netflix allows them to do whatever they want, and not even within reason. I think they literally can get away with pretty much fucking anything, and people watch. Like, I just got done watching part 2 of Disjointed, which is a Kathy Bates stoner comedy, which, believe it or not, it's a network sitcom. It is. It's a 3-camera sitcom set in a fucking dispensary in Los Angeles. They say fuck almost every other word. They show, pot smoking on screen. And like at one episode, one girl gets up, starts calling everyone a whole bunch of cunts, right? After making a joke earlier in the episode about deep diving for panty oysters. Like, they allow this kind of stuff to happen. And in the case of, let's say, Sense8, which was the Wachowskis show on there, they got 2 seasons. Netflix canceled it. Fans complained. Then Netflix says, okay, we're going to give you a proper send-off. We're going to give you a 2-hour series finale movie to wrap it all up. And that is the problem here. When you get shows that have a couple seasons and they get canceled and there's no finale, there's no closure. We as a society deal with a lack of closure on a number of issues. But if we were providing more closure for these stories, people, I think, would be more inclined to tune in, because then they would at least know that they're going to be getting a set finale. Even if it's not the finale they want, it's not just like, a person closes the door on something in this episode, like a huge cliffhanger, and then nothing ever happens after that. It just goes the way of the dodo because some executive didn't think it had good enough fucking numbers. That's why I like Netflix a lot. That's why I feel what they're doing is better, because that is, to me, I think, the way. So you wanted to say that you like my stuff and go to bed. Kiki Iki, I'd like to go to bed. I'm fucking tired, but I've got a 6-week-old who needs to feed in a couple hours, and this is my night shift. So Cloud Rabbit, dude, I do the same thing. He says he pays for Amazon, for Hulu, for Netflix, but watches YouTube most of the time. I am the same fucking way. Like tonight, for example, I went out to go get some Starbucks because I like my tea. Actually, well, it's my lemonade. I wanted to treat myself. And so I had to drive all the way over, like 2 towns over, to find the Starbucks that closes at 10. And so it's like a 20-minute drive to get there. And I'm just like, all right, I'll fucking pop on YouTube and I'll catch up on videos that I missed by creators that, that I'm looking for. And so I just do that. And then when I'm home, I'll watch. If I'm on the computer, like right now, I'll watch other YouTube. If I'm at my TV and I'm feeding the baby and the girlfriend's not watching anything on Netflix or whatever, I'll pop on YouTube, bring out my phone, bring up a video that I'm subscribed to. I watch YouTube like 90% of the time. And the thing is, I prefer it. Like I literally legitimately prefer watching YouTube above anything else. And yeah, I'm biased because this is my career. This is my preferred platform. This is my job. And I love what I do, but I like a lot of other people that do this too. And as a result, I'm very blessed in that fact that I get to do it and I get to watch other people that I like too. So you recently tried the new flavor of Mountain Dew, aka ice, and you liked it. Good for you, man. I don't drink Mountain Dew. The last time but I can confirm that Mountain Dew Code Red does make pretty excellent bong water. So I recommend that one. Your YouTube is broken. You kid me not. I had a message from YouTube team saying I've disliked over 5,000 videos. And so it suggested the videos are very filtered. Oh, have you, Midnight Fox, have you disliked over 5,000 videos? Because if you go around disliking a lot of stuff, it's going to think that you're Clint Eastwood from Gran Torino, and you're literally telling every other content creator to gruffly get off your lawn. So, oh, thanks for covering the Toronto stories. Yeah, John Rocks, like that was one that I saw last week, and I just didn't get around to covering it because I legitimately thought that it was fake. And then lo and behold, 3 days later, police are like, surprise. Except the video was demonetized. So that totally fucking sucks. Totally sucks, but that's just the way it is. Again, it's a fucking crapshoot. Every day is a goddamn crapshoot. So you don't think the Galaxy Quest show would work? You think the humor would run dry? Cosmic, I don't necessarily disagree with you, but the concept could work if we do that, right? Paul, sorry, let me quickly say the humor would work if it was spaced out, if it was treated as like legitimate, and then also went over to do the more comedic side of things where it played with both. I think it'd have a better shot. If it like think of the Orville, right, where the Orville is kind of similar in nature. So the Orville, has humor, but has more dramatic elements. Where if they kind of found, and I don't think it would be an hour-long show. I think it would be a half-hour-long show. So you'd be able to mix it and blend it without it feeling like it's running out of steam. But again, we'll have to wait and see what's going on. Am I looking forward to any new video games? Yeah. Monster Hunter World comes out this month. I want to get that. Far Cry 5 comes out in March. I want to get that. Shadow of the Colossus is next month. But really the big ones I'm looking forward to are Red Dead Redemption 2 and Days Gone. People keep asking for a Fallout movie. Horror Punks, yeah, it would do better on Netflix, obviously. Any video game property would do better as a TV series than a movie. I think we all can agree at that point. Just because of the way that the storytelling has gone. But like they were working on in 2014, I went to Comic-Con and I went to the panel for The Last of Us, which I didn't know that they were going to have a Last of Us panel talking about the movie. This was almost 4 years ago, talking about the fucking movie. And there's been no advancement on the movie whatsoever, right? Neil Druckmann's written the script. Sam Raimi was set to produce it. I should probably do a series about that. I kind of want to do a series on 3 Buck Theater where I do like what happened to, and I find like defunct movie projects and then like do like a 5-minute retrospective of how things crapped out, because there are a lot of movies that you hear about that go through the development stages and then they die. The Far Cry movie they had sucks. I actually kind of liked it. I mean, like not in a this is great, I'll watch it again sort of way, but in a I really like Uwe Boll films, and Til Schweiger is awesome, and it was like a sci-fi movie, and I found it to be relatively entertaining. So the Halo TV show, was there ever a Halo? Well, I mean, there's been a couple Halo movies, right? Like there was the whole thing with the Nightfall and Forward Until Dawn, or Unto Dawn, that came out, and they also did the first book, whatever the fuck it's called, as a 2-part motion comic movie. I got it on Blu-ray around here. I bought it for like $10 in LA when I was there a few months ago. Can I say hi to your girl Trisha? Jeffrey Oliver. Hi Trisha, how are you? Thank you very much for watching. Fallout movie is a boy and his dog. No, Fallout 4 the movie would be boy and his dog. Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to be great. It's going to be very interesting, but it's going to be riddled with microtransactions. I guarantee it. That's one of the reasons why it's been 5 years, almost 4.5 years since what was it that came out? Fucking GTA 5. So you heard you can't watch movies off the PS4 or off the hard drive? What do you mean? Like I mean, I haven't tried, but I don't know. Did I begrudgingly see the end of that Vikings game? Oh, where the guy caught? Yeah, I saw it. I thought that was pretty cool. If any game devs are in the chat, we need a PUBG with the Mad Max theme. Fuck yeah, dude. Also, I really like the Mad Max game. I did. I really enjoyed the Mad Max game. It was a lot of fetch quests, but I really liked the world and how it all played out. Far Cry Primal should have just been called Primal. Yeah, sure. Far Cry Primal should get a sequel. I really liked Far Cry Primal. So the failure for single player DLC makes sense, but it's so annoying for GTA 5. Yeah, I agree. One cannot USB drive on the PS4s. I don't know. Let me look it up. I used to watch it all the time on the PS3. New PS4 media player lets you stream videos from PC or USB stick. Pardon me. Sorry. According to the GameSpot article, you've been able to since June 17th, 2015. It's called the media player. You have to get an app for it. Like on my Roku TV, I have to get an app for my whatever the fuck it's called. I have to get an app to watch stuff on a USB stick. But what I have now is I have a Plex server, so I just end up watching it through Plex. So, what do I think of the loot box controversy with PUBG? Yeah, that's Ryan. I kind of half mentioned it in the Fortnite video I did, but I couldn't remember all the details. Yeah. That's what these guys are going to make their money in the back end, right? That's why Fortnite's like literally fucking suing everybody for doing this kind of shit. So they're pissing everybody off. Rockstar is such an upsetting company. They released a game every year since '99 until GTA 5. No game sense. I agree. Where the fuck? Okay, like here's the thing. I'd be willing to accept no new games. Okay. Two conditions. One of them doesn't even impact me at all, but I still would want it. Then that would be Red Dead Redemption on the PC. The fact that it's not on the PC is disgraceful. It is. It's disgraceful. The game is 8 years old come May. It's 8 years old in May. It should be on PC. And I'm not even a PC gamer, right? Not even at all. And the other thing is give me Max Payne 3 remastered. I fucking loved Max Payne 3. Loved Max Payne 3. And even that game now is 5 years old. So it's just, yeah. I mean, they like the money that they make off of fucking off of microtransactions on GTA Online. So you wait. Oh yeah. I got the version on for Red Dead Redemption on Xbox One. Because I had it on PS3, so I got it on Xbox One, so I got to replay it. And apparently it's got like a 4K patch or something, and it's got Undead Nightmare. Yeah, Max Payne 1 and 2 need remakes, agree. So, is it time for an Equilibrium game? Oh, dude, Nick, you're going to kill me. I've never seen Equilibrium. I know of the movie. All of my friends were like, it's so much better than The Matrix. And I'm all like, no, The Matrix is Keanu at the top of his game, ... until 2014's fucking John Wick. But you know, I haven't seen it. I need to. So, Nick, if you want in, dude, fucking, I'll send you a link. Let me know. If you're here, I'll send you a link. That's if your daughter is not gone. Morrowind, yeah. We definitely need another remake of Morrowind. That's the thing with Bethesda, man. Bethesda should straight up just remake Morrowind. It'd be better if they did. I think everyone would be very happy if they did. They'd be like, oh yeah, fucking Morrowind, man. Like, make that shit, son. Make that shit. So, oh no, Emma Watson wrote an open letter apologizing for her white privilege. Oh geez, oh my god, Hollywood lefties are just falling on the sword constantly. Oh my Jesus Christ. Someone or what is it? Yeah, someone here saying that because I made a comment, DSP's made a career for himself, saying, excuse me, he's a fat guy who plays video games all day and barely makes enough to live off his Patreon. He also needs to get an actual job. Being live stuck on the internet is not a job. Well, the thing is, he may be barely getting by, but he's still getting by. So he's still able to pull it off and jerk off on live streams and have it not actually impact him. on the whole. All right, cool. Nick, let me send you the link right now. I don't know much about Demotivator Opinion, but if Tim wants in, Tim, right? It's Tim. I don't know you, man. I'm sorry. Let me know. I'll send you a link. We'll get a good conversation going. A good conversation going. I'm okay with that. Talk video games and shit. All right. Wizard of Cause has been sent. That. Go back over to the chat here. Wait, are we jerking off on stream? No, we're not jerking off on the stream, Nick. No, that's later. That's a Patreon exclusive. mundanemat.com / no, wait, hold on. Patreon.com / mundanemat. So, Dark. Oh my God. Emma who? DCV Titan. It's Emma Watson, Hermione Granger from the Harry Potter movies. So there's people do get really emotional over DSP Horror Punks. They really do. He blocked me on Twitter for making an offhand joke, right? Like I should email him because he's emailed me before.
On Twitter, Matt.
Hey, what's up,
buddy?
I made you get on Twitter
by somebody. You got blocked.
I got blocked by Darkside Phil.
All right, I think it's about time we need to rent a room. We can organize meetings, serve shitty coffee, put folding chairs. That'll be great
for people who get blocked on Twitter.
Yeah, no, I mean, the Twitter block group. It's like a support group for people who can't communicate with people they weren't interested in communicating with before.
I maybe.
I need one of those. Honestly, that, no, I mean, ever since the fact that I couldn't just DM, slide up into Shive's DMs and just be like, hey, bub, how you doing, bub? How's things? How's that?
Yeah, me or Steve Shives, because I kind of lost me on that one.
Well, both of you, man. I mean, you, I can still slide up in your DMs and ask how the beard is going, but what am I supposed to do with Shives?
I don't know if I ever met Steve Shives, I don't know what I would ever actually be able to say to him. I think that if I met Steve Shives, the only response, and it would be a pure guttural response, would just be to laugh hysterically in his face. Because I think at this point he's such a joke, he's such a chump about the blocking and how he tanked the atheist conference, right?
There's nothing left to do except challenge him to a game of skee ball, and winner gets to decide if God exists. All one can do.
And then, but then have Dogma playing on in the background.
Yeah, you just secretly fucking invite Dark Matter 25 in the back with a garrote real quick. Be take him out while he's really focusing on the 50 hole.
I don't think Steve Shives would go anywhere without his wife, so it'd have to be a grave for two.
No, what's gonna happen? I think actually this. If somebody out there wants to write this fan fiction real quick, make it the day Steve comes home, finds his wife cheating on him, but then she insists that he just sit by and cuck himself, right? And that is the moment in which Steve has his equilibrium moment where he feels the coolness of the handrail as he's walking. Oh, you haven't seen the film yet?
Shit. I haven't seen the movie. Is it on Netflix? I mean,
this is why you fuck up, Matt. This is why you will never be fucking PewDiePie, Matt. You haven't seen.
Because I've never seen Equilibrium. Yeah,
it's actually all right. I'll give you actually the fairest warning. It is a movie that it's just a pure guilty pleasure. There is very little in terms of plot or dynamic that you really just get into. But the action sequences are so well paced and they come about so regularly, you kind of forgive the fact that it looks like the highest budget sci-fi channel movie you've ever seen.
I have friends who've starred in sci-fi movies, so it's yeah, I've seen that.
Oh, so do I. No, fuck, dude. My ex-roommate was in Ragin' Cajun Redneck Gator, and here's the funny thing. One of his co-stars in that was Jordan Henson from Eureka. Started out little girl, grew up to be this tall ass fucking hottie. Well, she's not that tall, but no, she was in.
From her being a fucking hottie, is that what I'm hearing here?
Oh no. Well, no. Here's the funny thing: is so yeah, she basically grew up on the show Eureka. She moved on to do this film, Ragin' Cajun Redneck Gator, with my roommate at the time that I was living down there. So he invites me down. He's like, "Hey man, fuck, we're down at Finn's real quick." And it's like Finn McCool's in New Orleans, in my opinion, the best bar there. And so I head down to the neighborhood bar there, and this chick Jordan's down there, and I hadn't met her. I didn't know fuck all about her. But we're sitting there. This chick is drinking more and cursing more than Chris and I combined. I fell in love the moment I heard her shout for another shot. I'm like, this is a woman here. Yeah. You go get that Cajun redneck gator now.
Oh, it's real quick. So my one of my good friends out of LA, his name is Eric Erickson, otherwise known as the Angry Viking, has been in a few of these movies. He's in one coming out this year. I totally forgot about this. You all need to go watch the trailer. It's the best thing you'll see all year. It's called Snake Out of Compton.
I'm sick of these motherfucking snakes in this motherfucking hood.
And no, just the trailer alone. He plays Ali Jaws. He is like the white drug dealer, the white gangbanger.
Oh my God.
In Compton. It's fantastic.
Meanwhile,
it's fantastic.
Yeah, Edward Norton is just punching himself for not getting just not getting the auto invite on that role. Is like, how many movies have I done cornrows with? God damn.
I feel kind of bad for him a little bit, just a wee bit, not much, but just
Norton?
Of Norton, yeah.
Why? Because no one wants to work with him anymore.
Yeah, I think like he really fucked up, man. Like,
well, no, he fucked up, but he fucked up in the way, like, especially as a fucking actor, you should know not to fuck up. He became someone no one wanted to work with,
which is really hard to do in Hollywood.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, well, this is the guy. I mean, fuck. I mean, like, he'd show up on half of the films that he was in, insisting that he get to rewrite the fucking script. I mean, what was it? Christian, what's his fucking name? Sorry, I'm like just kind of waking up again. Motherfucker, I was in a film with him, for fuck's sake. The guy who played Marty McFly's dad.
Oh, Crispin Glover.
Yeah, Crispin Glover. So here's the funny thing. When we did Amy in a Cage, and granted, this was like a little indie film, but it was like relatively large by indie scale because the motherfucker was like funding it with his Bitcoin earnings on the first wave that he made money on. Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure he wrote a second wave, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get to do another movie. But yeah, like so, like he wrote the entire script for this bizarre fucking film, and he got Crispin Glover in one of like the sort of leadish roles. And Glover, like, apparently he just consistently kept taking the script and looking over and just crossing shit out. Like, no, he wouldn't do that. He'd say this. And he'd do this, and then he like randomly in the middle of production says he needs $1,500 to run out to New York to go shoe shopping for the character. So he goes out and he gets these he gets these polished fucking platform shoes, right? Never wears them in a single scene. And then the one time they use them, they actually have to put one of the boom mic operators in these things because his are the only feet that'll fit. And then they have to film just a close-up of the shoes walking out because Crispin decided he was done. Like Crispin's like, well, these are all the scenes that are really important for the character, so I'm gonna leave now.
Yeah, a couple years ago, some guys I knew worked on a movie that had Michael Madsen in it, and so Madsen's a weird guy. Because he has some very peculiar tastes and everything else. And so when they got him in the movie for 2 days, and his fee was $9,000 to be in this low budget movie, and he requested that the money be delivered to his house in a brown paper bag, cash. And then he was a day late to set because he had some kind of like child custody hearing or something that like he was late for because they were shooting in East San Diego County. And so he had to get from, LA down to San Diego, which does take some time, and then head out.
Usually when you have family court about custody shit like that, like, that 2 months in advance or some shit.
Yeah,
not exactly quick.
Michael Matt. Yeah. He, and then I guess he came out there and he totally phoned it in. But it's really funny because I was walking through Walmart about a year ago, and I ended up coming across the movie on the shelf with Michael Madsen straight on the cover. But was really funny to me though was that right after that they shot that, I went to the American Film Market in Santa Monica back 2012. It's like a 5-day film buying extravaganza. I was there to network,
Yeah.
and I ended up running into a guy who's a film buyer. And we were talking as we were on the shuttle from the parking lot to the hotel. And I said, so like, who is it? Who are the worst people that you get in movies? Like what's a big no-no? And he goes, I'll tell you 2 names right now, actors that are always in a movie every single year and no one ever buys it. And that would be Michael Madsen and fucking, oh God. No. Eric Roberts. That's who it was.
Oh,
so, yeah. And then
all right. Well, in fairness though, with Eric Roberts, like, Eric Roberts getting work and like them just making movies to make sure that he can keep the lights on. Okay. Like, yeah, because that's all he's ever done. I mean, with the exception, like he like slides into like The Dark Knight Rises or Dark Knight Returns, right? And it's like,
Dark
whoa,
Knight. It was
holy shit. Yeah, well, like when I saw him in that, I almost felt like applauding, but not for his performance, just for his career. Like, good for you. Good for you.
You finally made it in a movie that's going to be Academy Award winning.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you see Eric Roberts, it's like, you'll see Eric Roberts in like lead roles or lead supporting roles in movies that no one ever watches. And then every so often you'll see him put in a character actor spot, almost like he can tell a casting director somewhere is like, oh, fuck, Eric Roberts. Of course, Eric Roberts is available. What the fuck? Why not? Yeah.
No, oh yeah. No, but that's the whole thing too. Even with Michael Madsen, it's just like, the thing is,
it's difficult being it's difficult being like the darker version of Tom Sizemore, basically.
Can you be darker than Tom Sizemore? Hasn't he been
busted? Yeah, no, you turn into Michael Madsen and like the darkness is basically just like, it's not so much like real character darkness, it's personal darkness
of like raping an 11-year-old.
No, I'm sure that's the thing. I mean, but Tom Sizemore still got like, popping kind of energy. He's still excited about his past, apparently. Michael Madsen, like, he shows up on set. Look at him on any Tarantino film. And even though he's on a Tarantino film, you can tell he's really not too happy to still be Michael Madsen.
Yeah. I got to see him Comic-Con before Kill Bill Volume 1 came out. They had an impromptu Q&A with Quentin Tarantino and Daryl Hannah. We were in a panel. It was what they called trailer park. Yeah. And so they just show us like a half-hour of trailers, and which is pretty cool, actually. And so we watched the trailers, and then they showed us a trailer for Kill Bill, and then randomly Quentin Tarantino showed up, right? Small little room of like maybe, 50 people. And then he brought out Daryl Hannah, and they were talking about the movie. And then Michael Madsen came up and like got on stage. And so like the 3 of them were there answering questions for a while. It was pretty fucking cool. So, I mean, I think Madsen, if he's like, if he's in the right frame of mind, will do pretty good.
Well, no, I mean, I think, honestly, I genuinely think that Madsen's probably actually at a point where like, cause one way or another, the guy's worked so fucking much.
Yeah.
And it's almost like he's guaranteed a spot in every Tarantino film.
Well, he wasn't in Inglourious Bastards, The Hateful Eight, or Django Unchained.
No, he wasn't in Django, but he wasn't in Hateful Eight.
Was he?
Yeah, he was that like random.
Honestly, I have. This is gonna lose you some credit.
I only know this because I saw it like a couple.
I haven't seen it at all.
Oh,
I own the goddamn movie. I own every Tarantino movie. I even fucking special ordered a copy of goddamn fucking Jackie Brown. Like, and those are hard to find, right? Like,
well, I mean, there's a reason they're hard to find because no one wants them and they didn't make enough. They made just enough for the people who want them, and now the people who want them can really go after them.
Yeah, I ended up finding it. It was on sale. Well, what was like Walmart had like a Blu-ray sale, and they had it down to like $4 or something, and it wasn't in the store. I had to have it shipped to the store. I'm all like, yeah, I'll buy that for $4 because I couldn't find it anywhere.
It's funny. It's like usually when you think of somebody talking about like, yeah, no, this is a hard to find movie and shit. Like you're thinking like, oh, I had to go to this like really obscure record store and find a VHS. Like, no, I had to have Walmart order it in for me because nobody wanted to buy it at that store. and I mean, like, it's fun to shit on Tarantino because, in one sense, I mean, after Pulp Fiction, and then he came out with Jackie Brown, and everyone's like, oh, yay, Pulp Fiction too. Oh, this is kind of boring.
Well, the thing is though, it's the thing you have to know about Jackie Brown is that it's an Elmore Leonard story that became a Quentin Tarantino movie. You know, so it's like so to me, it's a marrying. It's gotten better over time.
Oh, I mean, I'm not. I mean, again, I mean, like in terms of films, right? Like, if you suddenly gave me a budget, I would not be able to make a movie as good as Jackie Brown because I've never made a fucking film before. But it's. I mean, it's funny because like it almost seems like it got to be later in Tarantino's film career where he learned to kind of surprise people, but even the surprises, they're not that surprising. So you take, well, Hateful Eight, yeah, there'll be moments in all of a sudden the plot's going to pick up real quick, bunch of people are going to die. That's a Tarantino thing.
Yeah.
In Hateful Eight, it still kind of takes you by surprise a little bit. But then after that, like, whoa, hey, I didn't know that would happen here. I expected that like 10 minutes ago. And you're still like, okay, so, yep, yeah, all right, so, yeah, gunfight, and then calm talking, and then gunfight, and then calm talking. There are definitely some elements you can tell when he was writing it, when it came to, like, the attempts to draw attention from characters. You can tell he was kind of tapping into his Reservoir Dogs days. Because that was, I mean, you could almost say in some ways that was Tarantino's last real creative blast in terms of shaking shit up and doing things differently.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why Tarantino wants to bail out after doing 10 movies, but at the same time, I don't want him to stop.
I know.
I at least want him to write. I at least want him to write. There are people in the chat that are like, Tarantino's a fucking hack, and I'm like, see, that's what we're gonna disagree on that till the end of time.
There's a there. Well, I mean, and you understand. There's a legitimate point to be made when people say Tarantino's a hack. You know what they're trying to say, and that's that. Like, okay, so he's trying to recycle his favorite tropes to keep them alive in cinema. And as time goes on, it's like the nostalgia factor sets in deeper and deeper to the point where, like, if you remember those like 70s or 80s films in any way, the more you see Tarantino really refining himself as he creates these films over and over again and really getting better and better at honoring that which he loves in a way that is kind of distinctly his own. It's the kind of thing, like, as he gets closer to swearing that he's going to retire like 50 fucking cent, you're like, yeah, you should retire, but maybe one more. Just maybe do one more. Just do one more. Let's see if he.
I just want to see him, like, my favorite Tarantino like project, I guess you could say, is none of the movies that he's directed, actually. I really fucking loved From Dusk Till Dawn. The combination of Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez, especially in the 90s when were still fresh, hot things, I've always loved. Because I love Rodriguez's style. I like how they both love the ultra violence, and they bring this low quality, or not low quality, but like low budget flair to it. And I just felt that From Dusk Till Dawn was a fantastic.
It was a lot of fun. I mean,
the second movie sucked.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the thing I think though is like Rodriguez is another good example. Actually, the both of them. I think it's almost like the both of those directors have, like, they've been around long enough, and their whole shtick and like the whole feeling you get off of the entire, it's like throughout their career, was that they were really trying to take what they loved about movies and blaze their own trail with it.
Yeah.
But with both of them, it really kind of does feel as though that trail has been walked, like, thoroughly. I mean, what was the last? I mean, like Sin City 2. Fucking terrible. It was garbage.
I actually never saw Dame to Die For. Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
I never watched it. Yeah.
It was garbage. It really was. It was recycled schlock. Nothing made sense. Like, Marv is there. And like, why is Marv there? Okay, Marv's just a badass. He can survive anything. What? And like needless fucking crossbow battles and shit. It was bad, and it was I mean, Sin City was supposed to be campy and obvious.
Yeah.
This was a campy and obvious attempt at being campy and obvious.
See, I remember, man, like I went to the midnight screening of Sin City when it came out in April 2005, and I was blown the fuck away by it. Just blown the fuck away. And like I've watched that thing countless times now.
Oh yeah, the first film is timeless in that sense. You can watch that, over and over again. But the second one was just such an obvious attempt to rekindle that.
Yeah.
That it just really didn't work. And in Rodriguez, I mean, I don't know how many Spy Kids movies you can actually do before it affects you.
How many? He did 3 Spy Kids, right? Or 4 Spy Kids?
I think there's like 5 of them.
Let me take a look here because I know that the Spy Kids movies are his highest grossing films.
Yeah, well, of course they're the highest grossing fucking films, dude. But that's like saying like Barney the dinosaur made more money than the book Cloud Atlas,
Yeah. I get it. But I mean, it's like I think like it was Spy Kids 2 made more money than literally like anything else he had done combined.
Yeah, and the entire fucking project was really just an excuse to throw his own kids on green screen and say, "Hey, you movie stars now, guys."
Yeah, because he did. What is it? He did.
And honestly, even with that, I as a fucking parent, I'm just like, fucking well played, dude. You made a goddamn fortune.
I'm looking at his IMDb right now. So he started off with El Mariachi, which I fucking love that movie.
Mm.
I never saw Road Racers with David Arquette, the one he did before he David Arquette. Yeah, he did it as Road Racers. It was a TV movie with David Arquette and
David Arquette probably like strolls around his North Hollywood apartment cursing the existence of
dude, no. One time when I was at the Roosevelt Hotel hanging out with a friend of mine who is a weird thing. He was up there for some like Funny or Die. He'd won some Funny or Die contest where they brought you to LA and they put you in a Funny or Die skit. And I don't know. He was staying at the Roosevelt Hotel. So I went down there and we were hanging out all night long drinking and shit. I'm waiting to get my car out of valet parking and David Arquette standing next to me at like at fucking 2:30 in the morning.
And you asked him if he had your tag.
No, he was dressed in like a white like sequin jumpsuit, right? And all white. And he looked like he was the most coked out motherfucker I'd ever seen. And he was just waiting to get, I just looked at him and I'm all like, "Hey, what's up, man?" He just gave me this weird look like, "Huh," and went back to like, all right, David Arquette.
He's probably just standing there like really like rehashing his anger about that Nicolas Cage movie Bringing Out the Dead, and he's like, "Fucking Patricia, it could have been me. Nick and I could have had our own Brokeback Mountain in the city on drugs in an ambulance."
There is just it's so fucking funny.
I got to have lunch with Josh Brolin one time, kind of. And that was, well, it was a funny thing. It was the remake of Old Boy. It was going on down in New Orleans, and they took some background just because I'm like, yeah, I'll take some money and some free lunch. Why not? It's down in the Navy Yard. I love the Navy Yard. So I went down there, and it's the weirdest thing. So I'm like doing background, and I ain't done shit all day. And it's funny because like even when it came to background, they were just like, "All right, well, fuck it, you guys are spare fucking human beings. Let's shift you off into the background." I got to watch them film a scene where they took a fucking like $70,000 Rolls Royce or some shit, and they hightail it in reverse and then spin the thing out, almost crashing it a number of times and then peeling out and leaving. They do this thing like 4 times, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy insurance money. And then they cut the entire scene. But so
they do that so fucking often on shit.
Oh, I know. No, and it was such a good, I mean, like watching them film it too, I was like, I can't wait to see this in the final cut because it looks so good. And it's the scene where like Josh Brolin's character there gets put in the Foot Locker box and taken out to the field. And in the original cut, they were supposed to show it being loaded into this like fancy, gorgeous Rolls Royce and driven off. But after that, right? So after they get that sequence filmed, it's time for lunch, And I love craft services. It's my favorite thing in the world. And if you've ever been on a film set, you know. And so I let everybody else eat because I like being the last in line because that means everything there is mine. I don't have to worry about like taking too much of this or that and not leaving enough for somebody else. So there I am. I'm loading my plate up with like all the fish that's left. It's like, yes, salmon, give. Oh, fucking meatballs for some fucking reason. And I see out of my periphery, to my right, there's this dude, and I look over, and there's this like short dude. He's like 5'4" or some shit, dressed in sweats, like sweatpants, sweatshirt, and he's got makeup on him. I'm like, oh, random guy. I'm like, wait a second. What? I look over again. I'm like, and the dude's just like, what's up, man? And I'm like, well, why is Josh Brolin getting chow after I am? Should I put some of the fish back? Nah, fuck him. It's my fish. And well, then so like we get the food, and I'm just like, okay, so regular ass craft services, the fucking A-lister on set right here is eating after me, and then he follows me back. Just really chill guy too. Like, how's it going, dude? Oh, you doing background? That's awesome, dude. That's a great fucking day to fucking do background, huh? And he just follows me back to the place where all of the background and all of the crew are eating, right? Normally these fuckers eat in their trailer and they get like food brought to them on the back of some poor Indonesian child. And
well, you'd be amazed at how many of these actors though, they do want to get to know the crew.
Oh yeah, well this was all like these were the people who ate with the background. So it's all like PAs and yeah, he just comes in though. He comes into this big old mess hall, sits down at these big old fucking mess hall tables with us. And he's just eating. He's like, man, I fucking love New Orleans. You guys have the best blow in the country. I swear to fucking God. All right, cool. We're gonna get this straight skinny, and maybe we'll end up partying with Josh Brolin because this motherfucker. Last time he was in Boston, the production company that made the film Ascendance that I was in, they kind of had to do some promo shot with him, and there's some shit about like he basically semi-hijacked a limo, just threw a bunch of money at the guy. Had him drive him around Boston while he got fucking shit-faced. And then he like bounced out when he just kept throwing tips at him, but then he bounced out when like it was supposed to pay the tab or fare or some shit. It just like crashes out into some club hammered and really high on coke and just crashes into some Lansdowne Street club, and everyone was like, who the fuck is this guy? So Brolin's a bit of a wild man.
The most diva actor I've worked with was DB Sweeney. For those of you that are watching it, you may not know who DB Sweeney is. Yeah, he was in like fuck, dude, what, The Cutting Edge, that movie.
Strange Luck.
Strange Luck. Yeah, he was on that show. He was also X-Files. He was on X-Files.
Yeah, what did he? No, he had something before. He played a doctor, didn't he?
I don't know, man. Let's see here. Let me look him up again. I spent a lot of time on IMDb, so I'm actually friends with DB Sweeney on Facebook because of working with him on this project. Let's see here. He going back to the beginning. Wow, he's been in a lot of shit. Oh, he was with No. I was thinking it was something else. Okay, so we got Lonesome Dove, Memphis Belle. Okay, he was in Memphis Belle. That was a good movie. The Cutting Edge. Oh, he was in Fire in the Sky. He was
okay, that's it. Yeah, he was the guy who got abducted.
Yeah, and then he was Strange Luck. He was Chance Harper.
Yeah, that was like his show where like every episode.
What was that one? Fucking Mike Pinocchio. He was on Harsh Realm, that one Chris Carter spinoff that had like fucking 9 episodes or whatever. That was basically like The Matrix.
The one thing that lasted a shorter run than Millennium.
Millennium had like 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah,
I had a few, but no, I worked. Okay, so I worked with this guy in 2009. Let's see if I can find the fucking thing for it here. There it is, Universal Dead, the TV series. But so it's a web series we worked on. We shot 3 days in early November, 2009, and it's basically the whole plot line is planet Earth is ravaged by a strange disease that turns people into mindless murderers. As civilization struggles to survive, a small team of U.S. Navy SEALs must protect a doctor from the Center for Disease Control on a mission to evaluate the claims of an erratic scientist who may have discovered the secret to mankind's salvation.
I'm already bored.
Well, the thing is, it's an interesting take on the zombie concept, only based upon like what happens when zombies eat, like why do they exist, and what they basically uncover. And this is all in the web series, the 3 episodes that they did is that there was the virus that infects them. Turns them into like basically intergalactic beings. Like their stomach becomes a portal. So what they eat on Earth transports that food to their dimension, and there just so happens to be like varying levels of zombies. So you have like your standard zombies, you have like your kind of like your demon succubus types that are like the commanders, and then there's higher up from there. It's an interesting concept. The whole thing you can find on YouTube. I was a grip on there, but DB Sweeney was like the lead guy, and he got into a fight with the director on the 3rd day, and he literally went to like, he said to the trailer to go take a nap. We were shooting at San Diego State University in a fucking lecture hall. So there was no trailer. I think it was really just like he just found a car somewhere and passed out for a while. Because we had to drive him to his hotel at night. It was pretty funny. But like, not only was DB Sweeney in it, Gary Graham from the TV series of oh fuck, what was it called? Gary Graham was in, what the fuck was he
I'm
in?
just picturing DB Sweeney finding an open car in a parking lot and like shuffling into the back seat like a homeless person in the middle of winter.
This is San Diego in November, so it's like 80 degrees. He was in his Alien Nation. He was on the Alien Nation TV series, is what Gary Graham was in. But Gary Graham was like is a huge fucking right winger. And keep in mind, we're also working with actual U.S. Navy SEALs, some current, some former, and the former, I shit you not, were Blackwater fucking employed, because the director of this thing.
Yeah, I've known a few of them.
The director,
were they proper operators too? Because those guys,
I didn't ask. I know that the director of it was very much he was very much, oh Jesus Christ, former Navy SEAL, good dude, good guy, but he brought in his buddies. He wanted that authentic look. Like they rented Humvees, for like the outside shots and shit. But the erratic scientist, was Doug Jones. Who, right, if you watch Star Trek Discovery, he plays Saru on there. He was, he's been like, he's in the Monster in the Shape of Water. He's Abe Sapien from the Hellboy movies. And so that's the thing. Like, that was the last time I've worked with Doug. There's been almost, been 8 years and shit. But Doug's good peeps, man. Doug is good peeps.
Yeah, it's funny when there was a film. So my roommate like booked the role we both went out for, of course. And I'm getting a little echo from you. But he got the role I went out. It was a Diablo Cody film. I think it might have been her last one. It was initially called Lamb.
And, what is Diablo Cody is? Holy shit. I hate everything she's touched.
That's entirely fair, because I have no idea what happened to this film. It was just another $70 and it was down the Irish Channel. Like, so it's like, yeah, I'll go to the fucking Irish Channel for $70. So I'll hit up a Shell station real quick. And I get down there. I ended up meeting this beautiful tiny thing. She was like 4'10", but she looked like this miniature version of the girl with the dragon tattoo, and I'm talking the original one. So she had that kind of
face,
she had that dark kind of weird fucking look to her. And then like we're supposed to be like sitting at or hanging out and partying at this nightclub, and it's this big scene with Russell Brand in it, right? And she and I, and they're like, all right, everybody just go about, do not look at the star, do not look at the cameras, and action. And this chick just like busts this flask of Jameson out, takes a hit, hands it over to me. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be a good day. But I got to meet Russell Brand, and as obviously enthusiastically clueless as he is, clearly made himself to be via his YouTube channel, he is a genuinely friendly person to meet. Like, I'm just doing background, and we came up across each other. He's got these, so Wardrobe's got him in these like fantastic white snakeskin cowboy boots, which were probably his anyway. And I'm standing there in this pair of cowboy boots that I actually got paid I got paid with for the first film I did down there because they had no cash, and they're like, "You want to keep the boots?" I'm like, well, I've been standing in the Ninth Ward in July for fucking 3 days in these things. I'm pretty sure you don't want them back." So I'm standing there, and he looks down at my boot. Like, we came across each other, just sort of cross paths. He comes down the stairs, and I'm like heading to the fucking chow line, and we just sort of cross paths and stopped in front of each other. And he kind of looks down, and I look down, and I'm like, "Nice boots." And then he looks down at my boots, like, "Yours are probably more comfortable." Like, "Thank you, Russell Brand. Very nice guy." He was like genuinely warm and affable. And he's like, "I've really got to go. I'm really sorry." Like, "That's okay. You go ahead and talk to the pregnant as fuck director." And that was the other thing everyone was scared of, because she was very pregnant at the time while she was directing this film, Diablo Cody. And there was a couple times in which we heard some what sounded like needless shouting going on. But so yeah, it's a movie set. People shout at each other. Like, "Oh shit, pregnant director." Okay, everyone be on your best behavior.
Well, yeah, that fucking for people who don't know, for people who are kind of half bored from or whatever from talking about these movies. Working in Hollywood is like working is unlike working in any other industry, because it's all personality based and people will lose their shit at the drop of a hat for no fucking reason. But Zero Depressive is asking, why do I hate Juno? Because it's a shitty, fucking, horribly written, just garbage fucking fire of a fucking movie.
Oh, and for those also, for those who are curious, because I saw in the chat there's a question, Diablo Cody is a name. It might not be her birth name, but it might be. But I can say that, so this same film that I was doing background on, my roommate had like this tiny role in where he played a gondolier. He was supposed to be a Las Vegas gondolier. And his whole line, I remember, was something about like the main character, because she's supposed to be this like repressed, I don't know if it's Amish, I think it's like a Mormon girl who runs away from home. And he's like, "So you never heard of American Idol or iPods? You're fucking lucky." And apparently, like, he was hanging out with Diablo Cody in between takes, and in between takes and shit. And yeah, she used to be a stripper. And she was a stripper before she became a director. And she even said, she was like, "Yeah, I mean, fuck it. I got this kid, and I'm getting, I got enough money from Juno and shit. But if this movie flops, or I have to put up with any more of this bullshit from studios like I've been doing, I'm just going back on the pole, if I can."
Well, there was she wrote her book like a year she spent with that. Hold on a second. I have to go get my daughter. So entertain the chat for a second.
Oh, I mean, I'll give it my best, I suppose. I'm here. Not so much a question as an exclamation. What's the question? I didn't catch the question. Sorry, DJ Spec. Like an hour of no proposals. Yeah, see, like I'm just looking at chat now, so I have no idea what you people are saying to me. So you can all speak in code, and I don't know. Is that whole "do you know the way" thing still a meme? I mean, why was that? Why did any of you let that happen? I want to know that. Why did you let that happen? I mean, it was funny, but it went too long. It was the point where like everyone knows the way, and why the fuck? Anyway. So here I am, No Man's Sky. I never played it, heard it was fun, but only from someone who didn't like playing things. Oh, yeah, no, Diablo Cody is, yeah, all right, so her name, that I don't know if that's her stripper name or not. Oh, Zero, look at you. Yeah, thoughts on Jeff Holiday. Yeah, he's one half of the YouTube Saints. It's a pretty good show, by the way. You can catch it midweek over on Twitch. We got a midweek Saints, and then Sunday nights at 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. Wonderful show. Ranting Monkey. If you ask why we let it happen. Oh, see, apparently there's layers to this meme that I'm not aware of. I mean, granted, most of my shit is I just sit at my window writing throughout the day and listening to I've been listening to Alan Watts lately. Now I'm a big fan of like mushrooms and LSD and all of that. Alan Watts is a weird guy to listen to, even from my standards.
Okay.
If I ever make a YouTube movie with other creators as an FU to YouTube Red movies, like, here's how you do a good movie, not crap for tweens. I've actually, I've given some thought to that, because this whole matter of YouTube making movies, right?
There's nothing,
I remember
nothing inherently wrong with them making movies.
Well, no, there's nothing wrong with anyone making movies. Making movies is just wonderful in general, and the more people who do it, the more the odds, the better the odds that you're going to get a good movie. I mean, actually, Matt, have you ever seen Side by Side? It's a documentary produced and made by Keanu Reeves. Came out on Netflix, I think, a couple of years ago.
I think I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
It was really, really good, and it was funny because it was all about the switch from film, like film stock and classic conventional film, to digital, right? And in it too, I mean, he did a brilliant job, because he went down to, like, he explains to what many of us as the obvious science, but to a lot of people, they don't know about how, the differences between film and digital, how they work, and so on and so forth. And towards the end, the point began about how, because digital photography and cinematography, the equipment, just the tech itself, because it continually evolves and gets better and better, that it's so cheap that anyone can get the digital equipment to make a film these days. And he started, like, he interviewed everyone, like he was talking to Scorsese and just a fuck ton of other, like, big name directors, writers, and all this. Even like, and it was funny too, because he went to, like, colorists and lighting experts and makeup people to talk to them. The director's take on the switch came to that the upside to this whole digital revolution is that it's allowed anyone with a vision to make their film, right?
Yeah.
But the downside is because anyone who thinks they have a vision can make a film. And so if you want to find those brilliant works of art that are allowed to be made now because of the environment, then you have to wade through buckets and mountains of shit, like entire fucking wetlands of shit, just to get to them. Because there's so many arts, like art students who are like, I'm producing my thesis film about an art student who's struggling with their parents to accept what they want to do for a living, which is art. Oh, thank you, NYU grad. I'm looking forward to your appearance at Cannes. But with that, I mean, like,
when I made my movie, when I made In Search Of, my goal was to, like, literally just make something that was so insanely cheap, but that could have a fun, that could have an actual impact, I think.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, making the shit on the cheap is it can actually be fun when you're filmmaking, especially if, like, you have to write around that.
People to fucking watch it. That's the goddamn.
Well, that. But I mean, like, what I remember, like, at VidCon, even when I saw that they were producing, like, their own dramatic series featuring people who I could tell, right, just from looking at the way they mugged at the camera for the promotional art, I'm like, these are not actors. The last thing you want is to put together a dramatic fucking series of some kind, or even a comedic series, with people who cannot actually perform dramatically. You don't want to put amateurs in these kind of things. And when I say amateurs, I mean, what the fuck kind of business does anyone from PewDiePie or Logan Paul have delivering lines?
Well, I think the idea there, and hey, what's up, Ranting Monkey? I saw you got my message. That's good. I think the idea there is that these are people that are bankable. These are influencers. And how many times at VidCon did you hear that term? A lot, right? And because that's it, people want these companies. They want influencers. They want people who will put butts in seats.
Well, yeah, it's like why Kristen Stewart keeps getting work,
Well, I would argue that there are some cases where she's actually quite good. I liked her quite a bit, actually, in what was that one? American Ultra, that Max Landis one.
And in fairness to, I mean, for what her role was, I mean, yeah. she what was the Into the Wild,
Yeah, well, that was Sean Penn directing, because you know what they say, a good director can make a bad actor better.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, no, and it's like, it's and at the same time, a good actor cannot make a shit script better. So, but I mean, like, that all being the case, it is one of these things where it seems like especially YouTube, because they recognize their share of media attention as it was, like the amount of time people watched them as opposed to anything else.
Yeah.
This desperation on their part, though, to try and make themselves more than what they are. And
it's not that I would argue that it's not so much their desperation, it's other people's desperation.
Yeah, no, it's other people's desperation, but it's their eagerness, let's say.
I mean, like, yeah, I get that. I think that when it comes to a lot of Hollywood now, and especially Hollywood trying to merge itself with YouTube, is we're seeing you know, like it's kind of like Rihanna in the movie Battleship from 2012, right? she had like, I think 64 lines of dialogue in the whole fucking movie. Yeah. You know, like she wasn't there because Rihanna's a good actress. No. She was there to put butts in seats in certain demographics.
Well, it's, you know, I guess in this sense is and maybe this is something I can hope for, right? Like if YouTube really wants to go the way of producing original dramatic or comedic content in that sense, right? I kind of wish they'd go like the way of Netflix. Like Netflix just decided, okay, we're gonna produce our own projects. YouTube, it seems like, hey guys, you know, it's basically like you almost expect like their film to start out with, hey guys.
Well, no, the Thinning, for example, Logan Paul's movie, right? It was produced through Legendary Digital. So Legendary Pictures, people behind, you know, like the fucking Dark Knight movies, and anything Warner Brothers did for like 10 years, you know, they put it together. Like, so, I mean, that's what YouTube and that's what Netflix does. I mean, even shows on Netflix are, you know, they're brought to them by a studio or a production company that works with the studio.
No, I'm not saying YouTube isn't working on a studio. I'm just saying, like, I mean, for fuck's sake, what was the one that we saw? It was the giant banner over the
that was the like the run, like it was a night, I want to say like a night at the museum sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know that one Ranting Monkey, that one YouTube Red show?
Yeah, I you guys are catching me right as I'm waking up here. I don't remember the name. I do want to bring up, in the realm of YouTube though, if for as bad as whatever acting, say, PewDiePie could have done, putting his name on something is still going to get the viewers, which is what ultimately you want to do. I agree with you, Nick. I doubt he could act his way out of a wet paper bag, but at what point do you have to look at the business side of it too?
Oh no, I mean the business side of things makes absolute sense. It's just well, I mean it's funny though too, because in terms of like the lasting impression you can leave on an audience, for instance, like Netflix has done a very good job of demonstrating to the public that they're more than just a hosting service, that they're the content, that the shit that they produce can be more than just good. It can be really fucking good.
Sure.
Well, now Netflix is associated with quality content. And if anyone comes out and says that a Netflix show isn't good,
and YouTube would run a huge risk doing that, because then someone might actually just watch normal YouTube.
Yes.
Oh, exactly.
Okay. All right. You know, I think I might have changed my mind about this. Yes, please. You know, I think I want to see Francesca Ramsey play Rosa Parks at this point now.
Oh my God.
Don't fucking say that out loud, dude. It could literally happen. It could literally happen at this point.
No, they're just gonna produce like a biopic of Erykah Badu without her permission, starring Francesca.
I don't know, like, yeah. I mean, the thing is, the next wave of YouTube stars, like, this is what pisses me off about Logan Paul and all of his fucking buddies, is like, for some reason, YouTube looked at the Vine stars and went, "You're more important than the people that work in this platform." You know, and the truth be told, though, if you ever went and watched any of those Vine compilations, right, you could see like they would get a lot of views. I mean, that ADD fucking world where 6 seconds is apparently the best thing you got. All right, you're not even hungry.
It's depressing as fuck, though, isn't it? I mean, just, you know, between the Viners and also just to see what it is that really gets the clicks and gets the views. It's so fucking grating. just to watch like, and you have to, you look at it and you try so hard to tell yourself, no, this is not an accurate reflection of society, except then you're like, except it kind of is.
I look at the state of things and I don't think like people like us are fucked. I don't think we're fucked as other people want us to be or think that we are. There's clearly a shift happening, and I think that it will eventually get better. But what it's going to boil down to is that ultimately it's going to go back to the fans. The fans are going to have to help support the creators, whether it's through sharing or through monetary donations, because that's going to keep us doing what we're doing and not, I guess you could say, like giving in to the corporate shillery of it all, right?
Well, I mean, Entropy in the chat there just said we're living in a time when people take the Tide Pod challenge literally, and you're surprised that 6-second vines were popular.
That's a very astute point. That is,
that's my point right there. It's that.
I mean, but how many times were like when we were kids? What was popular when we were kids? I don't know how we'll do our ranting.
Playing outdoors with our friends.
Hanging outdoors. Well, I think you and I were like the last generation where that was a thing.
I know. And so imagine what the fuck is going to happen when, well, we're already starting to see what we get when people who have play dates and arranged childhoods, and even the misery of adolescence becomes scheduled according to their dual income households' demands. And then now they're growing up, quote unquote, and we're finding we're finding so many of the successful artistic types.
Yeah. Well, there's a question here from Rex Wolf. He's asked it a couple times. I want to address it. Any update on the Nazi pug, i.e. Count Dankula?
Okay.
And his situation. And ultimately,
trials delayed again.
Nothing happened. Yeah, I got delayed until March.
Yeah.
March 20th.
Which is actually the reason why he pulled out of Kilroy, I found out. Because he might be in jail. So he may not be.
Honestly, I will show up. I will put fake gauged ears on and then cut my hair, and I'll show up as Count Dankula.
What's your but how's your Scottish accent?
Actually, not bad. The fact is that I've watched enough Count Dankula to the point where I can pretty much just feel a bit comfortable just speaking about the Nazi pug. Because the fact is that fuck you. Traps are gay.
That's actually really good.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. It needs to be a little drier, I think, on the back end.
But it's fucking 5 a.m. and I'm half in the bag, so it's fine.
No, I understand. That was pretty much all of our interactions at fucking VidCon too.
Yeah, no, except that except it wasn't fucking 5 a.m, was it, Matt? It was like fucking 2 p.m, and we're like, we're just gonna go up to IHOP. Now we're going to go up to International House of Pancakes, and the most international thing we're going to find is fucking Canadians.
No, technically the most international thing we found at that IHOP was
Dave Barbara. Cullen. Huh?
I would say is Dave Cullen.
Well, was Barbara there? Because I just like
Barbara was everywhere. Not at that meetup, no. But I mean,
I'm just gonna put her in my memory as being there, and it makes it more pleasant.
You're like, oh, the Slovenian chick was there.
She was wonderful. I mean,
I like Barb.
Very pretty, and honestly, just even listening to her speak, that accent, it's like it's just enough.
I guess the question is going to be for this upcoming year, where we're going to, where the party's going to be. How many people are going to have individual Airbnbs?
Oh yeah, and how many people are like not going to go to other parties because there's just too much drama?
Oh, I can't wait for the headlines. YouTubers tear up Airbnb house.
No, fuck that, man. I can do way better than tear up an Airbnb to make headlines. You underestimate my fucking talents for making trouble.
We got no headlines from you last year.
Yeah, well, no, there were no. Well, the headlines
because I didn't get caught.
Went from tearing up fucking Airbnb. I wonder though. I really wonder if Anita is going to be giving another.
Oh, I'm sure she.
Yeah,
but I have a feeling there's going to be like.
It'll be closed room.
I have a feeling it's going to be like there's going to be like a cage around her or something.
Mhm.
Or I wouldn't be surprised if they have her on some kind of pedestal. Like,
oh my god, I'm sorry, Matt. I just like you saying that gave me this You remember when they in Con Air when they like lead Steve Buscemi with the lock-in control sticks onto the plane?
Yes.
I'm just seeing them bringing Anita fucking Sarkeesian in fucking VidCon that way. It's like, oh my god, Sargon got his wish.
No, we're not going to get any of that at all, unfortunately. It'd be really funny though. I could imagine that kind of security being there for us. Like we all go sit down and
Man, if I go to VidCon, I don't know. I don't think I'm even gonna get a fucking pass to the convention.
I am not gonna get
that shit was so dull. Here's the funny thing. I missed the whole Boogie Anita thing, and I say missed with quote fingers because I wouldn't actually say that I missed it.
Weren't you with Vernaculus at the bar down the street?
No. I ended up down there, but what that ended up happening by virtue of So as I was walking into the convention center, a very dear friend and fan of mine gives me this bag of crumbled weed cookie. And I'm like, oh, crumbled weed cookie. I'd love some. He's like, careful, it's strong. I'm like, I'm sure, whatever. And I had a couple pieces. And then I go into this, the hall there where like Boogie and Anita were. And I'm sitting like in the dead center of the fucking crowd, which is always a mistake. Never sit dead center of a crowd in a panel discussion because you have no idea how high you might get. And so I'm sitting there and I decided to just keep eating cookie because it tasted good.
No, you and I were there together.
Yeah, no, but you remember, well, then you remember, it might have been you or somebody else. I don't remember because I was too high, but I literally turned to whoever was next to me. I said, I'm too fucking high for this bullshit. And I
remember what you said, but like halfway through, you got up and fucked off. You just got up and left.
Yeah, no, I got, no.
Me and Brian from Honey Badgers were sitting there.
I was trying not to be too loud and disruptive because I didn't want to be too garbage human that day. But I just turned to whoever was to the left of me, and it might have been you, it might have been Brian, and I'm like, I'm too fucking high for this. I gotta get out of here. I don't want to listen to Anita Sarkeesian talk and ruin this midday buzz that I've got. And I walked outside, and it was funny. The only other person I saw out there was Shoe on Head, and Shoe's out there, and it was kind of weird because she
was left alone.
Yeah, I know, and it was really kind of weird seeing her alone because she really looked very fucking lost. And I'm like,
Skeptic and Shoe on Head were never apart.
Yeah, the one time they were apart was during this thing when he was in there with everyone else watching Anita squawk into a microphone.
Well, he was there. I think at that point he was having the conversation. He was meeting Francesca. What I remember.
Whatever. Yeah, he was inside, and it was funny because she was outside and she was checking her phone like a lost child waiting for her parents to pick her up.
Your recollection.
I was really high at the time. Yeah, it's not like I rolled up and said hello. I've kind of made it clear. I'm like, I'm not really fans. I used to really like Shoe stuff, but like everything else on YouTube that I've watched, I'm like, well, all right, I need something new now. But it was funny because she's out there and she's just like pacing and on her phone, and I'm just sitting there smoking a cigarette, high as fuck, and it was wonderful. And then I'm just like, and I'm sitting there wondering, I'm like, how long can those people really talk for? I mean, what is really left to be said? I could really go for like a sandwich and a beer. And then I think, I fucked off and met up with Vernaculus at the bar down the street.
Well, I have a feeling that this year, like, I don't plan on getting the creator badge. I've thought about doing the industry just so I could go up and learn some of the stuff about what's going on with the algorithms and everything.
You can teach me that so I can save.
But at the same time, I don't know if I want to spend the $650 fucking dollars to go in for that. And so I don't know if I'm just going to get the regular pass. Like, I do want to go to some of the panels and I'm going to want to walk around and shit. But I think for the most part, it's just going to be more of a repeat of last year where
it was just
probably just get drunk and hang out most of the time. And Ranting Monkey, you are more than invited to come, man.
Okay, you should definitely come because we had a really good time. I mean,
I'm a fun drunk. I just laugh a lot.
Yeah.
Everything that I say that normally amuses me becomes like 10 times funnier. So yeah, we'd have a blast.
Well, I mean, I don't know what state are you in, if you don't mind?
I'm in Michigan.
Oh.
Oh yeah, people from Michigan aren't actually allowed. So
We're damn near
Well,
Canadian.
I don't know if the Bible Reloaded guys are coming out.
The fucking Greens redid the goddamn the rules, and yeah, Michigan's out. So
damn it.
Yeah.
And this baby is wide awake.
No, it was the weirdest thing in VidCon though. Like the weirdest thing I found about it really was honestly the convention floor itself, because it looked just like a trade show, but it looked like a really boring trade show with a bunch of kids who wanted to be more excited than they were.
Well, they all wanted to see Logan Paul. They all wanted to see, the big name people that weren't allowed to go on the show floor.
Well, see, I think I might have sort of poisoned myself a bit, because my first experience with a trade convention, I was hired. Yeah, I was hired to actually play a costume superhero at a medical device trade convention.
What superhero?
Oh, well, no, this is the funny thing. There's a comic book out there. I think it's called Medikids or something. And it's like this superhero team of, it's the kind of like comic book they hand out to kids at hospital, or like, pediatricians' offices and shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they haul these costumes around for this trade convention because they want to, sell this comic. And at all these, every city they land in, they hire new actors and all this shit. I was initially going to play this one role where it was just going to be this weird, like, fucking like the nylon unitard thing, and I was like a backpack, and it looked like a Ghostbuster thing kind of. But then I ended up getting this fat suit to wear. So they gave me this fat suit, and this thing is brutally hot. And I had to basically just spend like 8 hours at this trade convention trying to convince people to come and look at this booth dressed in this fucking fat suit.
And then one of the comic book characters was morbidly obese man.
No, his name was Gastro. No, his name was Gastro, right? Gastro. And it was like all his specialty was he knew everything about eating and digestion. And I'm like, I'm like, there's no character study going on. It's fine. I just need to convince people in my fat suit to come over to this booth. Fine. And that was like a trade convention. And that was like my first experience with one of those things. And then I walked into fucking VidCon, and it looked the fucking same. It's just row after row of stall after stall of just pointless bullshit that like no one should be interested in, but is. And nobody really seemed interested in anything there. And it seemed so barren. There was so much empty space, right?
From the few pictures I saw of the floor, that was my take. It's like, wow, that is really freaking empty.
Yeah. It was ridiculously sad. Like they had booths in there that just made no sense. Like Taco Bell had a booth in there. Then they weren't like, they didn't have food.
Favorite channel,
had,
dude.
Like, sugary drinks.
My favorite channel, Taco Bell. My favorite channel.
Oh. Okay. Someone said I'm still presenting Nick.
Oh,
that's what that was saying. All right.
I'm sorry, everyone.
There we go. We can put on me. I don't present. Stop present. There we go. Okay, that should work now. Oh, she is not wanting to go to sleep. She is just not wanting to go to sleep.
Oh yeah, no, that's your.
I'm not going to get any sleep.
No. Wait, hang on a second. Like you're like a new father. You're like, I'm not going to get any. Yes, no, that's a foregone conclusion, Matt.
That's what father means.
Yeah. It's father, German for lack of sleep. There was a $5 super chat here from the Masked Strawman saying, if you're going to the next VidCon and Anita is speaking, you should show up with a t-shirt with an eye followed by a heart and then her face. Like that's her official fan club.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be considered targeted harassment, and it's not something that they want us to engage in.
Wear those shirts with hot shorts.
I might honestly, because one thing I noticed too is that security was exceptionally porous, even though some Vine stars started screaming at them. Let's be honest, anyone could have just slipped right in there, right? That being the case, it would be fun to have a nice, big, bold t-shirt that asks, "Am I oppressing you?"
Well, yeah, I mean, the security on the panel you walked out from. Okay.
Oh no, the panel security was one thing. I'm just talking about getting into the events and honestly slipping into those things. If you get there early, as we know, you can do things like hijack the front row to harass people.
Yeah, well, keep in mind, to be fair, no one else was sitting there.
Keep in mind,
there wasn't enough people in that first panel for them to even really fill it up. Like,
well, dude, it's funny when you think about it. The only panel which really got full up was the one with Boogie. And you got to wonder, was that just people who love Boogie? Because Boogie's a lovable guy, and his fan base loves him.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I kind of have to wonder, were they really there? I mean, like, yeah, that probably filled up because it was Boogie and Anita.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, that panel had who was on that first panel? No one you gave a fuck about outside of Anita. Like, no one there even really, like, they may as well not even have been there. You know, you had that one girl who's a streamer who, like,
do you think Anita secretly realizes, though, the fact that she packed the front row that way just with people who, like, don't like her? But do you think
I think it was a rude awakening.
Oh, I was wondering if, like, I mean, well, no, my thinking, and I guess maybe I'm giving her too much credit here. Like, it's one of the, like, if Milo Yiannopoulos shows up and sees like 2 or 3 rows packed with people who don't like him, that's exactly what he's after. And I have to wonder, even though Anita's got this fucked up ideology where she's a constant victim as she counts her Patreon cash or whatever, I have to wonder if she doesn't have the presence of mind to where when she goes somewhere and sees that there is a contingent of people who came out and spent energy and time not liking her, thinking, yes, very good, let the hate flow through you.
Well, you're breaking up right now a little bit, Nick, but I think that, like, when she came out and she saw that the first couple rows were full of people, she didn't recognize anybody, like, everyone. She recognized a couple, absolutely. And I think she was caught off guard, not knowing what was going to happen, not anticipating this. But my favorite thing from that entire exchange was her saying that she wanted to start going to more of these events where she would interact with people. Right. So she says this. I think she said this before she realized, because it was during, like, their opening statements. But she says it, and then soon after she realizes that was a huge fucking mistake. And so I feel like, looking at the new VidCon rules that they have on harassment, where basically it's like, you can't even, like, if we cluster together, it might be considered harassment.
If you sit with your friends, it's harassment.
I'm sorry, what?
You sit with your friends, it's harassment.
Well, it's basically like they have this whole new list, right? This whole new set of rules when it comes, like, their anti-harassment thing. And basically what they said is that people on the stage can do no wrong. So even though Anita, who was from a position of power, spoke down to audience members who paid to be there, right, and called them garbage people and shitheads, there was no backlash from that. But if we would have said she was a shithead or something along those lines at the event, we would have been ejected.
I like Zero Depressive just asks, can you cluster apart? I think that was harassment. Well, all right, you know, like, and it was funny because, like, when I gave a fuck, I was saying, hey, let's like, keep it in our pocket and shit. But these days, I don't give a fuck. Interesting thing I found out a while back. There are grounds, actually, for a class action lawsuit against the Greens. I believe. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a legal professional, but when it comes to the concept of antitrust, right? The fundamental thing is that there is basically an institutional player who is operating in a capacity which is obviously favoring one party over another and making an uncompetitive environment. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that being the case, it was recently discovered that if you look to Hank and John Green, yeah. Anyway, the Green brothers, if you look at their if you look into their business practices, they actually have an ongoing business relationship with Feminist Frequency, pushing Feminist Frequency merchandise and promoting Feminist Frequency as a, as a thing. Now, the fact that they have put together a convention, which is to celebrate creators from what is a public platform, and have given obvious preferential treatment to somebody who is an observable business partner of theirs, when all of this is a business. So, if Anita Sarkeesian is promoted by something which is semi-endorsed by the platform itself in a competitive market environment, and we are engaging in competitive activities, then it could be very easily argued that preferential treatment being offered to this individual and their brand, who is in opposition to other brands, is a violation of antitrust rules. Therefore, a class action suit on the part of those who are disaffected by this decision isn't necessarily outside of the realm of possibilities.
But the question is, though, how were we impacted by this?
Oh, well, I mean, in terms of the competitive environment itself, right? If sides are defined, let's say, and it can be clearly drawn that between Sargon of Akkad et al. And Anita Sarkeesian Feminist Frequency, that preferential treatment was given to one competing entity because she made it clear that she is effectively in a form of competition.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, it could be argued that her being given not only a platform, but a protected platform that is protected in such a way that any opposition to her particular brand and the pushing of her product is verboten, it constitutes the creation of an unfair competitive environment by a controlling entity, therefore establishing basically antitrust.
However, it is a private event, and so it's not representing the platform. While it is representing the idea of being an online influencer, I don't know how much you could really argue that it would be a direct impact against your livelihood.
This is the fun thing. This is why I really, really, really wish I could have made it into law school. It's because the difference between, all right, so I mean, you're still almost viewing this from almost a criminal law perspective, one of which requires hard facts.
Oh, but in civil, it's entirely different.
In civil, it is preponderance of evidence, and preponderance of evidence basically boils down to what is your argument, what can you say? Now, yes, you can say that VidCon is a private event, and that is entirely fair and true. At the same time, however, in terms of what VidCon actually represents, and because it is a public media platform that is displayed to the public, and because so much is produced as a result of such, one could say that in what is a competitive market environment, private or public, even though it's in the public sphere, that preferential treatment to one given side in a given competitive environment is the offering of an unfair advantage, especially when it is considered that this party has commercial ties to the to the preferential party in question.
Okay, I understand that.
Yeah, and really, like, I mean, I'm not even saying this is a locked case. I'm not a lawyer or anything, but what I am saying is that it is rather interesting that that what is an increasingly hostily competitive environment is having games played by commercial partners in such a way. The fact that the Greens and Anita have commercial arrangements between them, that they push her merchandise, and you know that they're getting a cut in some way. Well, that establishes a preferential commercial agreement, in which case, if it is being posed to the public, there we go. Yeah, I mean, it could even be said that it's disingenuous or willfully misrepresenting facts to the public, because yes, it is a private event, but at the same time, it is producing things for the public, and in the course of such, they are making sure that they can control the message which is getting out, which shows preference to one commercial party over another.
Well, Rex Wolf says that we should talk to the YouTube lawyer. Well, I think that I think that things are going to be, this year will be interesting. So if we get screwed over this year, and like let's say we're banned from going in, or we're banned from doing whatever. Then I think going class action will be, you know, something I will recommend to everyone this time around. Film everything. Always have something running. You know, Sargon had it right by having his GoPro on the entire time. So, just to be on the safe side of getting
I gotta say, it was kind of funny. What was effectively the biggest name in the circles that we were hanging out with, to see him wandering around with like a cinched up backpack and just holding a selfie stick constantly with his GoPro. he looked like a tourist.
It's great. Well, it's like, to be fair, he is a tourist.
No, it was funny because, like, you know, everybody, like almost everybody else there was like, you know, there and there, you know, like just trying to hang out in this shit. Yeah, Carl shows up looking like the English version of a Japanese tourist with a selfie stick, just constantly GoProing everywhere. And I don't know where the fuck he got that kind of battery life from. God damn.
He probably had a lot of batteries in there, or at least had a charger with them.
Several fucking power packs.
Okay, so we could probably jump off topic of that. We've been on for a while. Monkey. So what's new with you, man?
Oh God, nothing at all. I'm getting a lot of pushback on my Aziz Ansari video.
I haven't watched it yet, so I
you and me are pretty much in agreement.
Okay.
So because I watched your video as well. I actually saw a New York Times piece come out. It's an op-ed, so it's not officially from them, but I can't believe they let it through, where a woman actually kind of stood up for Aziz, and the fact that, you know, either women have agency or they don't, which is an interesting thought. I remember not long ago, probably 6 months or so ago now, Bering asked the question if women should even be allowed to drink.
Sounds like something he would ask.
Well, it's a fair question, because if they can never be held responsible for anything they do while they drink, should they be allowed to? I mean, you wouldn't make that argument if they were drunk driving, but, you know, if it's them spreading their legs, suddenly they're not, you know, responsible.
Yeah, it's a weird world. Like, I think about that kind of stuff a lot when I look at her and like how it's going to be in the next 15 years. Like, you know, like what the world is like, so to speak. But yeah, the Aziz Ansari thing. I don't know. Have you followed that at all, Nick?
What I've understood about that is he got a woman back to his hotel room.
His apartment.
His apartment.
And they were naked within like 3 to 5 minutes, from what I can gather.
They gave each other oral.
Yeah.
And then he got weird, right?
Not really.
No.
The way that the article's presented, it makes it sound like it. Like they say, he wouldn't let her get away from him, which in their estimation is she went to another room of the house, so he followed her.
That's what you do when, like, you're naked and banging each other.
Or even if you just have...
Oh, you're going to the bathroom. I'm sorry.
Well, if you had people over, you know, just hanging out at your house, and you're in the kitchen together, and then they go in the living room, where you're just going to go, well, fuck it, I'm going to hang out in the kitchen. You wouldn't do that even if they were dressed. You'd follow them. But yeah, this whole article, it goes out of its way to make him sound like some fucking predator. And the truth of the matter is
that was a big thing, where he would put his fingers like a V and shove them down her mouth to the back of her throat.
Yeah,
and then he'd be trying to finger her from the other hand, or he'd wet his fingers on her mouth, and then he would finger her while that was happening. Like that.
I'm not saying he doesn't have some weird fetishes.
Well, that's some like, it sounds like the dude's been on Pornhub too much, and he's picked up like the wrong traits from the wrong kinksters.
Probably, yeah. If he would have been like choking her out while she was sucking him off, then you're like, oh yeah, but.
Well, I mean, actually, I think I'm thinking of incorporating this into a video, because like I've had a lot of weird experiences with like kink chicks, and they're all over the place, and they are the easiest ones to like really get to come home with you, because these are generally girls who they're just down for literally anything, and initially that sounds like a lot of fun. But when you really encounter them, it's like, if you know what they're about, you need to fucking run fast, get the fuck away from them. And you know, and if this guy's, you know, so like he's like a young star, he's got, you know, plenty going on, plenty of money and shit. I imagine he probably attracts a lot of these broken ass bitches who want nothing more than to be choked and smacked around.
Well, in the story, the key thing for me was that at no point was the word no uttered.
Well, yeah, it does get uttered at the end, and he's like, cool, let's put our clothes back on. She goes, no, I don't think I'm ready for this. I don't think I'm going to do this. And he's like, cool, let's chill with our clothes on.
Well, what I loved was that
not rape.
Wait, hang on. So he's being crucified for basically being.
Well, essentially, like they get back to his apartment, they get naked, they go down on each other, and from what I could gather, because she says it was all kind of done within the first 10 minutes, right? Basically meaning like she completed him, brought him to completion.
I've never had a blowjob that good.
And so it's basically like, so then they hung out on the couch, or they were naked. They watched Seinfeld. He kept trying to like, you know, like he was getting his second wind, right? And he kept trying to like get her to like put her hand on there, and you know, they're still naked, by the way.
Well, this is the part that
goes to the bathroom, and she comes out and he points at his dick, and so she goes down on him again.
Yeah, she complains that he kept putting his hand, her hand on his dick, but she sucked it twice.
Yeah.
So, whoa, it's weird. It's almost like a guy brought a woman home. She blew him. They hung out. He wanted to fuck around more. She went for it, and then after the fact, she's like, "I would have rather not." Is that basically what this all comes down to?
Well, she says that after she came out from the bathroom, she realized that she wasn't comfortable with everything, and just how abusive she is. I think the word she used.
Nominal says, I think Seinfeld is the most questionable part of the story.
Blew him a second time.
Yeah.
So,
all right, well, then, I'm sorry, honey. Like it, you know, it's not. I mean, granted, we've probably all seen the videos. Yes, you can, in fact, like, you know, force a woman to suck a dick. Fine, but I mean, this really does. I mean, this sounds. It really does kind of sound like that classic. Well, it's going to be classic soon. It's, you know, big name star takes woman home. They have fun, and then she realizes by making a fuss, she can maybe get something.
Well, the funny part about it to me is that she, like I said, she talks about him putting her hand down there and the V move, but the actual sexual acts, she just agreed to. Like, sure, I'll suck your dick.
That's pretty vanilla too.
Well, and she complains.
I'm kind of disappointed in Aziz, to be honest.
She complains that he's not reading her nonverbal cues.
That's called being a man. We're
she
really
had
bad
his
at
dick
that.
in her mouth twice. What other nonverbal cue do you need that a woman wants to have sex? Seriously.
What kind of verbal cues can you give with a dick in your mouth?
I really don't like this right now.
It's like, yeah, it's like he didn't get her gagging notions, like, you know, because she was trying to do it in Morse code, saying, I'd really rather just hang out and watch HGTV with you.
Well, then she also, like, so he texted her the next day, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, completely like, hey, that was a good time. I had a good time last night. And then she writes back this total, like, you know, feminist freaking response that apparently she had gone to a few of her friends in order to proof it, to get advice on what to write to him, to say that, you know, to say that he was a problem. And then she sends it. He responds back with, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. And then that's really about it. Like, he apologizes.
And then meanwhile, we've got just flocks of feminist writers like freaking out about, like, why do you need sex robots, huh? Why do you need that? It's like, because every man is turning into Rust Cole, and he thinks we all just need to march hand in hand to do extinction, and sex robots are the easiest way for us to do that. So congratulations.
It's insane, to be honest with you, that is blown up like this. And then I fully expect by the end of the week that Master of None will be canceled.
Yeah.
Because the thing was, like, even though it wasn't as lurid as, let's say, the Kevin Spacey accusation, which it's okay. If you break down the Kevin Spacey accusation, even then, yeah, he got on top of a 14-year-old that he was drunk or whatever, but nothing, like, as soon as the guy got up to leave, he let him leave. You know, like, I'm not saying it was a right move. I'm saying, like, it wasn't as bad as people were making it out to be.
Yeah, it was creepy, but he's not Buffalo Bill.
It's like Baked Alaska at San Diego Comic-Con was being called out constantly for, like, this streamer. He's like talking to this chick like in Catwoman cosplay, and you know he's flirting with her. She's kind of flirting back a little bit. He asks her like for a number. She says no, or her dad's right there. He goes, "Oh, she's 13." And he goes like, "Oh shit, I'm sorry, I had no idea." And then he ends it. And then everyone's trying to say Baked Alaska is like some big pervert, you know.
Yeah,
and I'm like, dude,
well, let's be honest. I mean, this is kind of the environment we live in now, right?
Yeah, no, it really is. It really is.
Well, I mean, I find it funny, and I don't want to fucking hack into this, but I mean, the fact like my own shit, right, has suffered due to just the enthusiasm with which people love to jump into a witch hunt.
Oh yeah.
And it's fucking obnoxious to a point where like you get to the point where like, you know, it's kind of like when it comes to YouTube trying to make movies with people like Logan and Jake Paul. It's like, okay, what direction is society going in? Do I want to be there for it? And is there enough gasoline when I've tired of it? It's like burn it down, but start it over. Why don't we have Visigoths to invade Rome this time? Oh shit. The best thing we have is Muslims, and no one wants that.
The weird thing with the Aziz one is that so far there's actually been quite a bit of pushback on this one, which is the first time I've really seen it. I mean, if you look at the allegations against Louis C.K.,
well, how far can they go, dude?
Well,
how far? I mean, like this is the thing. Like, when everyone's been freaking out about like social justice, feminist, crazy people, right? The question you have to ask, I mean, like, granted, society can be fucking retarded, but really there is a limit as to how far a stupid idea can go before people just they've just had enough. I think we're starting to see that with social justice now. In fact, I've been thinking
every time I think that, we end up with #MeToo. So,
well, no, I mean the shit. I mean, but the thing is,
I'll be right back.
How do you differentiate, for instance, between a vaunted crusade of one kind or another, or a fucking death rattle? I mean, look at how fast Me Too turned into a joke in enough circles to the point where people had the opportunity to read opposition to it. You know,
true.
I mean, Pussy Hats lasted longer than Me Too.
Yeah, yeah, but those are dying now too.
No, I know pussy hats are dying now too. My point is though, is that like that insipid display of empty virtue lasted longer than Me Too. People are getting fucking tired of the shit. I really think that they're genuine, and I think honestly, the sad thing is I think that's why these insipid shitheels in the alt-right are managing to gain what little traction they can. It's because they recognize that.
Absolutely.
That masturbation, that fucking flogging of the rod of ideological posturing that was the hard left is now out. It's falling out of fashion. So this new version is coming out and saying we can punch this clown even harder than those guys can. Come on over to our camp and get your fucking vigorous left hand stranger workout over with us.
I see what you're saying, and I do. And the things certainly seem to be dying out faster than they did. Certainly than like say the original Gamergate stuff did. That lasted for quite a while, but I don't see an end to the insanity.
Oh no. The insanity will just continue changing form.
If you go onto Twitter and look up Aziz Ansari and look at some of the people who are bashing him for this, and
no, I won't actually.
it's actually pretty
I'm
funny.
making a point of not being on social media because I'd like to maintain some semblance of hope for humanity.
Oh, see, I just use it to laugh. I take a very George Carlin thing here. I watch it to watch the world burn. Entropy is a thing, and we're all a part of it, and might as well laugh.
See, why is it you get away with that, and then everyone accuses me of just being some shitty nihilist? And I'm like, I am a shitty nihilist. I haven't read Nietzsche.
Because I make dick jokes when I do it.
Oh, that's
the difference.
No, I mean, I'll be honest too. Like, I've had a really good chance to sort of reevaluate for myself.
Sure.
what it is that it seems that public appetites really are. Like what, and there are various public appetites. There are some appetites for, there's some appetites for Nova, and there is some appetites for Jerry Springer, right?
Sure.
And as we see, it seems as, and I'm kind of coming to a theory here where I'm starting to think that because the din of screeching queens that exist in society these days, because it's getting so loud that people are actually preferring the mind-numbing, mindless entertainment of the world simply because it's a safe haven and alternative from all of the wretched arguments that everyone insists that everyone needs to be a part of.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there, but I don't think that's anything new either. I think look at professional wrestling, dude. That's all that's ever been. It's a way to turn. No, seriously.
No, you're absolutely right. I was agreeing with you.
It's a way to turn off your brain for a little bit. And I mean, professional wrestling is all about fake drama. We all know it's fake. And they have these huge wars with each other, and there's back and forth fighting. And you don't have to think about the fact, Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un are waving their dicks at each other. It's,
I mean, even there, I mean, and this is the thing, it's idiocracy is proving more and more prophetic every day, it seems. I mean, our president is squaring off against the most insane dictator in history. Yeah, I might say. I mean, like, honestly, the Kim regime of North Korea, I mean, they're giving what was his fucking name? The crazy Roman emperor.
Caligula.
Yeah. Yeah, the Kim regime is giving Caligula an honest run for his money. And
I don't think a lot of people understand just how insane Kim is. This is a guy who grew up basically thinking his dad was a god, and he literally believes it.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, this is the thing. I mean, when we like to look at North Korea, though, and we like to see this like fucking poor nation of brainwashed masses desperate for something more. But that brainwashing, that simpleton mind is part of human nature. Like, that's something every one of us has the potential for. And so since we have the potential for that, it seems like very few people, while they're criticizing like North Korea and the propaganda that people just swallow in that country, very few people really seem to reflect upon what it is that they swallow themselves. It's like, those North Koreans, the ones who are loyal to the regime, those poor bastards, they've been so horrendously tricked by this trickster regime. Now, excuse me while I indulge in Love Island and and WWE and oh, holy shit, look, oh my god, there's like, here we go, we've got a real political debate going. I can tell because people are shouting over each other.
I think it's a matter of degrees. When you're looking at Kim, who says he's never pooped, and then you look at Donald Trump and somebody saying, oh, he's playing 4D chess on Twitter, of the two, never pooping is definitely the crazier of those two. So
listen, I've never taken a shit, and I'm saying that on record. So I dare any of you to come around and prove me wrong. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's why they established that legend. It's because it's the one thing no one ever wants to verify.
True. Yeah.
It's like, I need to go into the bathroom. Why? I need to take a piss. Do you want to see if I'm lying? No, you've been eating kimchi for like a week.
That was a 30-minute piss. I was full. Yeah.
I can possess more liquid than any other human. Oh, of course you can, dear leader. Wait, why is that something to brag about?
As I look at our world, and like the Logan Paul, I know people hate him, and I find him to be a vapid douche, but I understand people liking him, and for the most part, it's because it's young boys, and when we're young boys, we're impressed with stupid shit. If you look at like Jackass, that wasn't 50-year-olds sitting around going, "This is quality entertainment." That was, middle school to college age kids who made that a huge thing. And as I pointed out before, there's a scene in there where three guys are sitting around in their underwear throwing a ball at each other's nut sacks. People like Logan Paul aren't new. I mean, you can go back even further. Even if you're looking at just pure comedy, go back to Benny Hill. This is not high art. You know what I mean? It's just silly nonsense. And while I can look at somebody like Logan Paul and shake my head, I also can't condemn him too much, because I was a young dumb kid once too.
Monkey, come on.
Well, I mean, I can.
You can do it, dude. I believe in you.
I have my problems with it, and I pointed out to people that want to have that discussion. But for like what do they call them? The low gang, which may be the gayest thing I've ever heard online.
Was it? And well, I mean, this is the thing I've kind of recently noticed, that it isn't actually the personality itself, right? That is so fucking repulsive, even though they are. But it's the fact that a dedicated fan base, like a fanatical sort of fan base, builds up around it. And you look at what like the core of this thing is, and you're like, well, that's insipid as fuck. And then you look at how the fan base just sort of echoes and amplifies that insipid nature. And like, this is where popular culture is going.
Yeah, I see. I just wonder how different.
I know you're a grandparent, so like you don't want the world, like you can't let the world just burn.
Oh, it's not even that. I wonder. I mean, when I was a kid, God, I'm trying to think of what was popular back in the mid '90s. So like,
well, the Cranberries.
Imagine the world of the internet back in the days of MC Hammer Pants.
You mean the internet we have now?
Yeah. If you look back at what all was happening back then, do you think that it would have really been any different than it is now?
No.
Or stupid has always been. And
no, this is the thing though. The sad part is it's not necessarily a criticism of the culture of our age. It's a criticism of our species. This is honestly, I mean, like I find the existence of people like Logan and Jake Paul to be an insult to humanity.
This is
there's no other way to put it.
You asked earlier why you're seen as a dirty nihilist and I'm not. Here's why. Because I embrace that part of humanity. I think it's as great as our as the Sistine Chapel. I believe that the absurdity of us.
I just want you to make that statement like directly, just so that we can.
Logan Paul is just like the Sistine Chapel.
No, one more time without me interrupting.
Logan Paul is just like the Sistine Chapel.
And there we go. This is what you need to either begin or end your videos with from now on.
Well, think about it. There was a man who spent how long painting naked pictures on a ceiling? Is it really that different?
Well, I would argue that yes, it is, but okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, if we're going the nihilist route, and they're both gonna end up the same decomposing meat, and okay.
Well, no. What makes that art? Because somebody painted naked people?
So basically, what you're saying is that well, hammer pants were, they are legitimately highbrow fashion if you want them to be.
At the point at that time they were. I mean, it's easy to look back at like 80s hair and see that ridiculous Aquanet beast growing on women's heads and going, "Ooh, wow." But then if you just go back, look at blue-haired women now. Is it really that different? I embrace the insanity of humanity. I do. Hey, I rhymed. I didn't mean to. I think that's what makes us so much fun. We want to be high-minded and intelligent, and we are. There's a lot about us that is smart, and The fact that we get up every day and can feed ourselves and turn on our cars and go to work. Yeah, we do all these great stuff. But we're also mindless fucking idiots who will sit down in front of a television show and watch medieval characters have sex with their sister and cut off each other's junk. And this is considered high-minded entertainment. I don't see a big difference between Game of Thrones and Logan Paul either. So,
okay, so like it almost sounds like what you're saying here is you're like, no, I've learned to get comfortable by way of lowering my standards by just observing how low the standards actually seem to be.
Yeah, it's not lowering my standards; it's bringing them even with where humanity is.
Very well put, well said. I mean,
you ever hear with low expectations, you're never disappointed.
Yeah.
See,
like, well, yeah, the trick then becomes like no expectations, and you'll always be surprised.
Exactly.
Like, wow, I didn't expect you to do anything. It's something horrible.
See, I'm already turning you into oh shit, I lost the word. Optimist. I've turned you into an optimist.
It's like, if nothing else, like, if things continue the way you're going, I heard you lost heat and hot water. Well, if this happens next winter, the fires outside will keep you plenty warm.
There are bonuses to nuclear winter. It's that first heat blast.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, radiation poisoning in the middle of winter, I imagine, like, you can't decide if you're just like cold or sick. So you're kind of warm in the middle of it, right?
Well, for all the Logan Pauls of the world, I just read a story the other day. I have a spinal injury, and they've actually been able to start fixing spinal cord injuries in mice. And so, yeah, Logan Paul exists, but the smart people are still doing the smart stuff. And as long as they are, then the Logan Pauls of the world are not a big deal.
I suppose as long as as long as we can continue having those smart people.
Let's be honest. Throughout history, most people have been dumb.
Oh, easily, yeah. Even most smart people have probably been dumb. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
I mean, might even argue like, yeah, you might even argue it's like, well, how many of the classic philosophers actually believe there were magical gods in the sky? Yeah.
Yeah. Despite what the alt-right will tell you, most of them sit around in their underwear watching, porn too. So they didn't help society. They like to point to the great white people of old. But there were a handful of great white people of old, just like there were a handful of great people of old, for fuck's sake.
Well, funny thing with that is, like, when you come to like the question of great people, I've been listening to a lot of old Alan Watts lectures, and he's got this great point when it comes to like the concept of the guru, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he loves pointing out. He's like, yes, and it's like, all of these fashionable Westerners love going over to like try to go to like some guru or Zen master or something, and then they find out like he smokes cigarettes, he has a girlfriend, and he's got this, he's a normal person, and they think, well, oh God, like he can't be fucking real.
Okay, I'm back.
And it's the whole point.
Welcome to the Nick and Monkey Show.
Seriously, fuck. No, okay, so I think I know what was up with her. Like, if you notice, she's been changed. I go to change. I thought I needed to change her, and yeah, she had a huge blowout, and so she was just really uncomfortable, and ended up I had to go through 3 diapers.
Oh yeah,
because it was like the whole thing, front and back. I mean, up her back was just like, like we're talking like 3-day-old guacamole dip type stuff here.
And it didn't phase you in the slightest, did it?
Well, no, because I went and got a pair of gloves. So no. Here's the thing. Here's the thing with that is I catch shit for this, but I don't give a fuck. And the reason why is because when I worked at the drive-in theater, I've cleaned up condoms by hand accidentally.
Oh,
I wear gloves. I wear gloves, and so yeah. So
you wear gloves for her protection, not yours.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. No, just go with that. Just run with that.
But no. She ended up I cleaned her off, and then I went to go put the new diaper on, and then she pissed on that diaper right as I was getting her ready. So
what's fun, Matt? Here's the funny thing, and I think, and Monkey, you can correct me or back me if you like. You take all of this cleaning poop and bodily fluids and taking care of this absolutely helpless creature shit, right? It pales in comparison to what happens when they start asking questions.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm sure. Oh no, don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, she just turned 6 weeks old yesterday, so things are only going to get more interesting as time goes on. But
that's the nature of the thing. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, though, it's like I had fed her at about 3 hours ago, and that's why like I made her another bottle thing. She's still hungry. No, she just blown out her ass, but she wasn't crying, so I didn't have any reason to really think about it because
you can just you can cuddle a creature who is covered in shit and not notice it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Welcome to fatherhood.
No, that's why I don't know if you guys saw me come back in
or college.
An antibacterial wipe and went through and like wiped down my keyboard, wiped down my doorknob. I'm like, I was patting her butt, so like I'm like, I want to make sure I didn't spread baby feces.
Oh, is that what you were doing when we saw you come on camera for a minute?
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was wiping down antibacterial wipes. I think now she's now having trouble like staying awake. Are you gonna go to bed finally? Can I finally go to bed and you can anger mommy? Can that happen? That'd be funny.
This is fun because, like, actually, you know, Matt, actually, hats off to you because you have actually, like, I wish when my daughter was at that point and I was up all night, I had something to do like this. Yeah, you found a way to make late night daddy duty actually work in your favor.
I had Nick at night, and not this Nick.
No, well, last night I just I sat out there in the other room. I put my headphones on because my Xbox is on that TV out there. And I just played like State of Decay for like 4 hours until I needed to feed her again. And then I just like jumped over to YouTube and like watched YouTube videos and then put her down.
I'm gonna guess it's already happened, but I'm curious. I just want to ask if it's actually happened. Have you done the little, have you done the, you lay down and you're holding little one on your chest there, on your shoulder, and they pass out and you're holding them, and then you pass out, and then it's just like baby sleeping on top of you, and it's the greatest sleep you've ever gotten.
Mm-hmm. I like I've been sitting in my recliner and fell asleep holding her the other night, but it was only for like maybe 5 minutes, and then I just my girlfriend came and grabbed her, and I went to bed. So
you'll get there, man. I mean, it is the greatest sleep you ever get. Even if it's 10 minutes.
What are you doing? I think she's hungry again. Are you serious? You just blew out a whole Taco Bell.
She's empty now, Dad.
Yeah, no, that's what she's doing.
She's gotta, like, she's gotta pack that protein in so that she can grow into the bane of your existence. Here's the fun thing, Matt. If you have sons, right? And MRAs might be furious, but when you have sons, eventually their problems just become their problems. But when you have a daughter, her problems will always be your problems.
No, that seems about right.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. I just had that conversation with somebody the other day. My boys, all of my children are grown. My youngest is in college right now. I have 2 boys, and I pretty much leave them to their devices. Take care of yourselves. That's what I taught you to do. My little girl, if she even looks sad, Daddy's like, "What's wrong? What can I do? What can I fix? Who needs hurt?"
If she's anything like her mom, then that won't even be an issue. Like, oh, what's wrong? This thing happened. Okay. Well, do you want me to fix it for you? No. I'll do it.
Oh. See, I was half expecting you to like give that classic line of like, "What's wrong? Nothing."
Oh, you still get that answer, but it doesn't stop you from wanting to fix it.
Oh, no. My dream. I really want to get my daughter into jiu-jitsu, to be honest, because, and I made it as a joke, but it's an honest thing. I want, like, if I ever get that 2 or 3 a.m. phone call when she's like in college, right? And she's blubbering and she says, "Dad, he hit me." I just want to be able to ask the one question, "What did you do?" And her answer will be like, I broke his jaw and his arm in 3 places.
Yeah.
And then I want the next question to be like, "Do you need bail?" And if the answer is no, I want the next question to be like, can we talk about it tomorrow? You know, that's my dream. That's my dream for my daughter. I want, like, you know, I don't want her problems to be my problems. I want her to be strong enough to fix my problems.
Well, like, I have a friend of mine who is an only child, and her parents got her into kung fu at a young age. And so she at this point is a black belt, and you would not think it to look at her, but she will put you through a fucking wall.
Oh, dude, no. When I was in martial arts, shit, I remember being in martial arts. I was studying like Kempo at 15, and we had this, like, there was like this 12-year-old who'd been studying there for years. And it was like Saturday afternoon sparring, just free sparring. And she fucking kicked me in the head like 4 times. It was half my size. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. What the fuck was that? How the fuck did you do that? Okay, I'm right, fine. You know what? I'll go. Like, I'm gonna fucking go tough on you. Swing, swing, miss, miss, block, block, kick in the head. What the fuck? Where did that even? Yeah, and it's like, yeah, like, put your daughters into martial arts so that
Yeah, I'm gonna do that with her.
So yeah, on the one hand, you never have to worry, and on the other hand, when you get to be an old man, you can walk around with, like, you know, your daughter is your, like, villainous sidekick. I'm like, my daughter will take care of you.
That's the thing I don't understand when it comes to, like, this notion that, like, women are always in danger, women are always the victims of something. It's like, why, if you ever make the suggestion, well, what about self-defense courses? No, we need to teach men not to rape. Yeah, that's never going to happen.
Well, those women probably didn't have fathers, because, like, good fathers teach their daughters how to fucking be badasses.
my daughter can throw a right hook better than I can.
Yep, my daughter's a lefty, dude, so she's like got that on her. Yeah, and my daughter's Quinn's left hook, and it was funny. Here's a funny thing, right? So, and you might actually get this, Matt. And I don't know if you had to deal with this. My daughter was getting bullied, right? And part of the problem too is, like, you know, as a white girl in a predominantly Hispanic school, like, she's actually catching racist shit now. And the school won't do anything because they don't want to look racist by defending a white kid, which is fucked up. But yeah, well, like, both her mother and I, like, her mother told her, and we barely, like, you know, we have never gotten along, her mother and I. But like, we both told her, like, if you defend yourself, then you defend yourself. That's what you do. And she's like, well, I'll get suspended if I hit a kid. It's like, if you hit a kid, it's because they put their hands on you. And if they put their hands on you, you go ahead and you finish that fucking fight. And if you get suspended, we'll get you ice cream and a movie and pizza and shit. You know, it's fine. But yeah, I mean, like, I taught a little girl to, like, throw a left hook. I mean, she's a lefty. I taught her, like, I taught her a few basic hits and shit, and she got pretty good with it. And then one day I'm dropping her off at school, and she's got this one bully, Niasia, right? And she's like, oh, I don't want to go yet. I'm like, why not? She's like, she's there. And I'm like, point her out. I'm sitting in my car, and she points out this girl's like half her size. I'm like, what is wrong with you? You could house this one. What does that mean? It means you could destroy her. Why are you remotely afraid of that midget? And I came to find out, like, even though she, like, knows how to fucking, like, Quinn knows how to break someone's nose. Quinn knows kick a boy in the balls if he puts his goddamn hands on you. And she's scared to hurt her.
Oh, yeah. My kids go to
disappointed.
My kids went to a school where they have a, quote, zero tolerance policy on violence, and that even means if you're defending yourself. And my son came home and told me somebody hit him. It's like, well, did you tell the teacher? Yeah, she didn't do anything. I'm like, okay, the next time that kid touches you, I want you to beat his ass. My wife was like, you can't tell him that. I'm like, I absolutely can. And I said, if the school's not going to enforce their own policy, then I'm going to have my child defend himself.
He'll enforce his own policy.
He never got bullied again.
That's what I told her too. I'm like, listen, listen, you give one kid a bloody nose, no one will ever mess with you. Yep. She just doesn't. And it's funny because she's just so scared of hurting someone. Like, she's taller than most of her classmates. And, like, she started out with that whole kid, like, you know, wind up and telegraph your punch shit. And I kept correcting her on that to the point where, like, I was like, hit.
I gotta go make another bottle. I'll be right back.
It's just so quick. I'm like, my God, why won't your mother let you go into martial arts? Oh, that's right. whatever. It's like this kid.
My daughter got to the point because I used to let her actually hit me when we'd be, working out, and it got to the point I had to make her stop because she was hurting me. Like, no, we're done.
Oh yeah,
punching bag. There you go.
No, when she was, I had her just hitting my hands, and it got to a point where like I was telling her like, nope, like you throw it from your shoulder, and she got to the point where she was snapping these punches out, and I was kind of impressed. I'm like, that's fucking quick. And then it started hurting my palm. I'm like, all right, nah, you've got it. Just remember how to do that. And then the fucking moment someone puts their hands on you, you do that to them until they stop.
Well, my mom was always worried I was going to be a bully because I love to fight, and I wanted to be a boxer. My wife wouldn't let me. And for anybody who, you're a cuck. No, we had children. My safety was as much her concern as mine. So
fuck that, dude. Anybody who uses the word cuck unironically is like somebody who plays Limp Bizkit at the bar.
Oh yeah, yeah. But yeah, I loved fighting, but my mom was always worried I'd be a bully. So I wasn't allowed to hit anybody unless they hit me first. But I was also like the biggest kid in every class I was ever in. But for some reason in certain schools that made me a target.
Oh yeah. But I remember big motherfucker dude. The little, it was always the little kids too.
Yes. Yeah. The fucking littlest dude would stroll up on me, and I was sitting on the bus one day, and this kid walks, and he threw a piece of paper at me, and it hit me right in the eye, and I whipped the shit out of that little kid.
Oh, zero depressive. What I meant by that was that it's people doing stale, boring, dull, gay shit unironically. So like playing Limp Bizkit on a jukebox at a bar without like it being simply to annoy the other patrons, that's a bit like using the word cuck as a serious insult against somebody. It's fucking gay, bro. Don't do it. It's gay as fuck. But
I got what you meant. Yeah, I forgot to have chat open. Sorry about that, guys. Hi, how is everyone tonight?
Yeah, but I mean it's and okay, Rex, I'll Matt.
Yeah.
You're awakened with it. Clearly.
Sure.
Yeah. Newborn daddy. Yeah. Let's the Rex Wolf wants us to contact Leonard French.
Yeah. Leonard French isn't going to, Leonard French would just look over a lawsuit and determine whether or not like we might win or lose or whatever. That's all Leonard French is going to do.
Real quick, Tyrion Ranger says if the mom won't let her take martial arts, put her in hockey. Have you ever seen women's hockey? Those women could kick my ass in a heartbeat. Oh shit. Actually, that's actually a really good idea, dude. Because Quinn's favorite sport is roller derby. And it's like, well, hey, honey, you can do roller derby, or do you want to do this other one where like you can just fist fight?
Over dramatic one.
Oh, BG wants me to finish my story about the guy in the bus. In that school, I never got in trouble for fighting, and I fought all the time. There's two things you need to learn if you're going to fight in school. One, be a good student. That got me out of most of the trouble. And two, never start the fight. And as long as I followed those two things, I never got in any trouble fighting in those schools. My mom did ask me why I did it because there was a little report sent home, but I told her he started it. Everything was fine. Because that used to be how it was. If somebody started a fight, you were allowed to finish it.
Not anymore.
No.
Oh, that's what I taught Quinn, though, is that you never start a fight.
Yep.
You always finish them. And it's funny because I can even tell her, I'm like, Quinn, do you start fights? She's like, no, I finish them. I'm like, that's my girl.
The only fight that I remember ever starting in my life that wasn't with my brothers, because that's different laws there. Some kid called my mom a bitch, and I just beat the hell out of him because you also stand up for your mom. And I came in the house, and she used to brag about this story. This is the woman who my whole life taught me you never throw the first punch. She used to brag about the fact that her boy beat somebody up for calling her a bitch. So there's exemptions to all rules.
I've never beaten anyone up for calling my mom a bitch. I had my younger sister was once being bullied by this one neighbor kid who was a real piece of shit. They were like in elementary school, by the way. So like there's nothing I could have done regardless. But he liked to hang out with the neighbor boy. and they were out in front of my place, and she came home from school and she was crying and told me what happened. So I stormed out there and got right in the kid's face and basically said, if you say an unkind word to my sister again, I'm gonna fucking pummel that little bitch face of yours in. He never said another word and never came by the house again. I don't really feel bad about that either.
That's what I want. I want Quinn to be able to do that for herself. And it's funny because she's tall. Like, my kid is tall. And I've seen her walk in with her classmates, and I'm like, you fucking tower over. It's no fucking wonder they're like, they're gunning for you. Mm-hmm. You're the fucking biggest mammal in the room outside of the teacher. You gotta assert the fact that like that means something to them. Otherwise, like, they're not gonna understand it. You'll get there too. I've actually had to I recently, because it's funny. Fuck, my daughter declared herself an atheist to me one time. When she was about 5 years old. She started getting dragged to church, right? And then I've got her on a weekend. We go out to this playground. She sees a church steeple in the distance. She's like, it's a church. It's like my church. I'm like, oh, do you like church? Because my thing is, if she if she digs it or whatever, that's fine. That's her thing. She's a child. She can believe in fairy tales. But yeah, and she tells me this. She's like, yeah, like it's okay. Do you believe in God? I'm like, well, do you believe in God? And she thinks about it, and then she's like, well, no, I don't think so, because they keep telling me that he's supposed to be up there, but there's just outer space and rocket ships up there. Okay, kid. I'm like, all right, cool. And it's it's funny because you hear about the woke 8-year-old moments, but when you have your own kids and they say the weird, the genuinely weird and sometimes insightful shit that you hear, right? You're like, all right, your woke 8-year-old doesn't exist. Stop spoiling it for the rest of us.
Kids will say stuff that just blows your mind now and then. My 2-year-old granddaughter was jumping on the couch at her parents' house, and her dad told her stop jumping on the couch. And 10 minutes later, she was jumping on a chair. And her dad looks at her and says, I told you to stop jumping on the furniture. And the 2-year-old looks at her dad and says, no, you said stop jumping on the couch.
Oh, I hope she represents me in court one day.
I told him, like, you guys are gonna have trouble with this one because she remembers.
Yeah, it's like, keep her away from classic literature.
Madison is so freaking tired because usually she feeds and then sleeps for a couple hours. So she's basically been up now for probably about 5 or 6 hours. And so she's just she is trying to eat and stay awake, and then you watch her and she's just like eyes roll back in her head.
It sounds like she's her father's daughter.
Uh-huh. Yep, 5 or 6 hours awake is all I need. Rest time I sleep.
Like you're just, well, I mean, you're talking about her schedule and her activities, but I can hear this hint of envy in your voice. Like, man, I wish I could live like that.
Well, the good thing about my girlfriend being home is that I'll do the night shift and then she'll take the next couple so I can sleep until around 10 or 11. I slept until around 11 a.m. this morning, but I didn't go to bed till 5 with her till last night. So I get a couple extra hours, but then basically my entire day is get up, feed her, wake up, do my videos. By the time that's all done, because I still have to stop every couple hours to do stuff with her, which I'm not really complaining about. But then it's I don't really leave the house. I went to Starbucks today. That was it.
And it was wonderful.
The thing is, where I live,
I saw people. There was a squirrel.
There's really not much. I almost hit a fucking deer, but yeah, that's about it. There's not much where I live, in terms of things to do past 9 p.m. So,
fuck you. No, Matt. Fuck you, man. Fuck you. I live in New Hampshire. Okay, there's nothing to do after 7 here outside of drink, and there's nothing to do before 7 outside of drink. So, yeah.
Yeah, but you're drunk most of the time, so that kind of serves its purpose.
I am not.
That gives you something to do all the time, Nick.
Yeah, I drink Chino, and I do what I do the fashionable thing here in Manchester. I do, what's it called? Heroin. Yeah.
How often are you hungover after the Saints, both either main or weekday?
Well, oh, you should. No, actually, I was stone sober this last weekend, and I felt terrible about it. I didn't feel like comedy at all.
I don't know. Jeff having to do all those death shots, that's pretty fucking funny.
He didn't do any death shots either. That's the thing. Like,
keep in mind, we're in January, where the amount of money that's being, that's people have to donate or lower because they're recouping all their Christmas costs and getting ready for the tax season.
Oh no, it was the strangest thing because I've been, I have actually been making a very conscious effort to curb my drinking lately.
That's good. Save it for VidCon.
No, it was kind of, I mean, it was more about like, I asked myself, like, when did you start drinking like this and why? Is that still going on? Why are you still doing this? And so I stopped, basically. Yeah, no, but it was funny though, just doing Saints and drinking tea, and like I didn't really notice it going by the same way I used to, and there was no like moments of pure fire, which I completely regretted down the line. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know if I'm gonna regret this tomorrow. I don't think I'm doing it right.
Well, yeah, I mean, part of the idea there is, you guys get hammered, and seriously, she went to the bathroom again. Went to the bathroom.
That's what they do.
They eat, and by the way, Tyrion Ranger in there, I will say, like, I mean, yes, I got stoned, but that was actually after the show. Doing and this is maybe other people will say different. My experience is that any sort of performance, I can't do anything stoned. I can't even write when I'm stoned. And I've done a couple shows where I've been a little high, and people are like, "Oh no, it was a great show." I'm like, "No, I don't think it was. No, it couldn't have been. There's no way." And I remember Tommy Chong saying a similar thing, because in all the Cheech and Chong films, they were smoking the whole time, because if they were going to get the kind of high they would normally get, they wouldn't be able to make a fucking movie.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, what was it? He's like, no, man, you can't do anything when you're high. So, no, we wouldn't. We'd smoke after, man. Okay. And then you get into production shit, and like I've tried to do videos when I'm like a little stoned, and it never works. And I'll even watch it afterwards, thinking I'm just being paranoid, and I'm like, nope, that just sucked.
I don't get high. I've done it like 3 times in my life, but I do enjoy a drink. But I've noticed on YouTube, if I've drank doing like our shows, I become hypersensitive of what I'm saying, because I don't tend to have much of a filter anyway. And when you take it away completely, there's no telling what the fuck I'll say. So I become hypersensitive of what I'm saying. So it just goes to shit. It's better if I just don't.
Well, it's it's funny actually. A guest we had on Saints a number of weeks ago, to the Ranting Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking brilliant comedian, and the guy's like, I love his content. But he actually vlogged and documented effectively his own his own road to sobriety. And this guy was, people think I drink a lot, and I would guess on average people probably think I drink more than I actually do, but that's just because the online persona and all. But sure. Yeah, well, two got to a point where he had his doctors had him he had to take like 12 shots of vodka a day for several weeks before he tapered down, because he was so in it, right?
Damn.
And it got to a point, I guess, and I mean, it feels weird saying it, but I mean, this is, he publicly states this in his vlog. He lost a portion of his vision because,
oh wow,
yeah, no, because his drinking, he was drinking so much and eating so little that his body and his brain had adjusted to getting the nutrients from his drinking. And when the doctors put him on this regimen, he did not want to wait that long to be sober. And so he started cutting down on his own, and it had this adverse effect, and apparently a part of his brain basically just shriveled up and died as a result, because the nutrition just wasn't there. Even though he was eating well, his body wasn't used to processing it anymore, and he lost he's like partially blind now. And but it's watching the series that he produced about finding his own sobriety, right, was I mean, it's really fucking moving to watch, because he's very fucking like bared open and honest about what he's going through. And while you're watching this, and then you talk to him afterwards, and he's still the fucking like fucking edgy comedian that he's always been. I've been talking to him, and he came to me after Saints, and he said, so I watched, I basically binge watched a bunch of your shit, and I've noticed that you do better work when you're sober, but I don't think you do. And it was funny, because like he said this to me, and it kind of rattled around in my brain for a couple weeks. And it was one of those kind of like gnawing, kind of nagging things where it's like, why'd you have to say that?
Yeah, and you mentioned that you were drinking tea on the Saints. I only got to see the end of it. I still think you did great.
Yeah, it didn't feel the same then. That's the funny thing. And
of course, it didn't feel the same. You could feel it.
Well, yeah. Well, no, I mean, I started asking myself, right? And I started asking myself, and yes, Rex, 2 is a furry, and but but in spite of that, he's a great guy. Yeah. Well, I talk to a cartoon monkey. Excuse me.
Indeed.
But I mean, no, it's a funny thing, because like I remember learning about state-dependent learning.
Mm-hmm.
You heard of that?
It sounds familiar.
It's a concept, and it's actually kind of true, and you can see it in comedians a lot too. You take like Mark Maron and Jim Jeffries, right? When those guys quit drinking, they kind of lost their edge. And I mean that.
Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and well, I mean, state-dependent learning, apparently, like, it's this theory where you learn to do something. You get so used to doing something, you learn to do something when you're fucked up, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you can't necessarily do it as well when you're sober. And it was funny. And I mean, people have been saying like it was a good show, and I appreciate them. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it, because it's a late night show. It's not a fucking, community talk stream or anything. It's a fucking late night show we do. And if you're entertained and enjoyed it, I'm glad to hear that. But it's funny, because I came away from the show last night wondering to myself, I'm like, is my fucked up version of comedy some state dependent thing?
See, from watching last night's show, and I've seen several. I haven't seen every Saints. I'm not the best fan. I apologize for that. But I've seen enough that I think I at least get your humor. I almost wonder, where rather than being state dependent learning, if you actually have the opposite problem of me, where I'm hypersensitive when I start drinking about, whether I'm saying something that's funny or how well I'm doing. If sober, you're having the opposite reaction. And
no, I mean, I'll say this. I mean, even sober, drunk, I don't give a fuck what I say, right? Mm-hmm. Sober, and it's funny, actually, I'm going to be putting this in a video soon, because it kind of speaks to like the duality of people and how we put one face out to the world when we are in fact much more than what we present. But it's funny, like I found that the things that I have said, for instance, when I have been blackout drunk, and I don't black out too often. I usually have to mix liquors and shit to get that, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I'm like 90% of the time or more, I would say, when I'm confronted with the things that I say and I do when I'm blackout drunk, initially, yes, I feel embarrassed, because it's not something that I would normally do. My facade would not permit me to. But when I think about them, and after maybe usually about a day, when I think about what they mean, I come to kind of realize I kind of stand by it. You know, it's one of these things like, well, no, actually, I kind of fully fucking understand why I did that. And you know what? Now that I think about it, I'm glad I did. I'm glad I said that. I'm glad I did that. Maybe it wasn't as diplomatic as it might ought have been, but yeah, I stand by that.
A funny thing has happened when I've been out drinking with friends, because I was never a big drinker in high school. The first time I got really fucked up was my 30th birthday. And the only reason I agreed to do it was all of my friends wanted to see what Frank was like drunk. And I was like, all right, fuck it, let's do it. And I got just fucking hammered. And the next day, everybody's like, do you even remember what you did? And I remember everything. I've never been blackout drunk. The only thing, occasionally, things come back to me slowly, but I've never done anything drunk that I'm ashamed of, because literally I'm the same person. I just laugh more. That's yeah. And my wife says I'm really loud. So
I think by and large, I think in general, like being inebriated in some form where it's not, a psychedelic, for instance, right? You get more of what that person is under the surface in that sense. I mean, it was funny. I mean, I have a few stories that I could tell, but one of the funnier ones of the, ooh, wow, I would have not done that if I was in the right frame of mind, but I understand why I did, kind of things. It's like 2015, I think. I dated this gorgeous, beautiful 4'11" redhead, and she was just she was so perfectly proportioned and built, lovely thing, broken as a Soviet sedan, though, absolute kinkster. And
not you, she's not going to sleep again.
Well, she talked me into a relationship. We were just sort of seeing each other, as you might say, and she kind of talked me into a relationship. I wasn't really into the idea, didn't really want to get into one, whatever. But we went for it. And then she got weird, left me for some weird dude who liked to put ice cubes in her ass, and that was the end of that. It didn't last long. Now I was
about the ice cubes in the ass thing, I think.
Yeah, well, I was a little fucked up about the thing, right? You get a girl who all right, I'm gonna take kind of a chance on you, and oh, there you go, goodbye. So I was a little bothered by it, naturally. Nothing extraordinary. But one night I was out. It was actually back before I moved out. So I'm sitting on this farmer's porch where I used to do all my writing, and I'd spent the entire day writing and drinking brandy, and apparently I did something while I was after maybe a flask and a half of brandy, and I did a thing, and then I forgot about it. And then the next day I go to work. I was working at the beer shop, so I'm at the beer shop and I'm just kind of wandering around because I made a point of not doing any more than I had to outside of selling the shit and drinking, and that was really all you can do at a fucking beer shop anyway. You get everything stocked and you just kind of wander around waiting for someone to come in and buy something. So I'm wandering around. I get this alert on my phone from FTD, and it says that my flower arrangement has been sent out. And I'm like, what the fuck? What? Oh, shit. And I start laughing. And then my friend who owns the place is like, what's up? And I'm like, oh, I sent some flowers to Leah. She's like, oh, that's nice. I'm like, not really. We broke up. She's like, oh, are you trying to get back together? I'm like, no. Apparently I sent her with a get well card. And she's like, oh, is she sick? Nah, she's just crazy. And I'm like that's the kind of, I would for one thing, I wouldn't spend money on something like that. But I'm realizing, I'm like, wow, drunk me is he's an asshole, but I kind of like him.
Well, I do have to give my wallet to my wife, because I'm a big tipper anyway, and drunk I will give my wallet to a hot waitress. So I just turn that over to my wife, and yeah. Sorry, but otherwise, it's me louder.
Yeah, sorry, Ken Lee in the chat, drunk FTDing.
There's a whole lot worse things you could have done.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, they were. I actually like looked at the order. It was I think it was orchids or some shit. Like I dropped like $60 on this, apparently.
Yeah, so drunk you is funny, but you don't make good decisions.
No, it was a wonderful decision.
That is a bad decision, Nick.
No,
this is an intervention.
Like, no, I mean the fact that I sent it with a get well card.
The get well card makes it funny.
Yeah, no, that's what really like, and that. I mean, the most recent example. It's not as funny, but like I had a drunk blowout argument with the bitch who was like living off of me, and I set this ultimatum of either like you can live here and we'll do what we've been doing for real, or you can go the fuck back to Arizona, which I didn't even know was an option until you had already lived with me. And I gave this ultimatum when I was blackout, and she comes to me the next day, and she says I gave her this ultimatum, and initially my like topical senses are like, no, that'll run her out of here. Don't do that. And then after about a day of thinking of it, I'm like, fuck me, that was thank you, Mr. Hyde, for taking care of Dr. Jekyll, because he apparently doesn't know what's good for him, but you clearly do. And so, there's it's the in vino ut veritas thing. There is a certain degree to which the true natures and aspects of our personalities will come out when we're in a position when we have no means to control them. But naturally, because the demands for social graces obligate us to not do that all the time, we seek to keep them in control, and oftentimes I think we often try to exude a sense of shame that maybe we ought not feel for what we do.
And I think that's probably why I'm not much different when I'm drunk than I am sober, because there's lines I cross socially that I know I'm not supposed to by social standards, like walking away from somebody in the middle of a conversation because they were boring me. I didn't even do it consciously. It's just like, this dude's boring me, and I turned and walked away. And it was 2 steps later that I realized I was the only one he was talking to at that time. I didn't do it to be a dick. It's just like, this guy's boring me. I'm going to go do what the hell I want. And so I don't generally have those social things, and I fight against them, to be honest with you. I call it fake civility. When people are, if you don't want to talk to somebody, just, I don't want to fucking talk to you, and walk away. My wife got mad at me when we took my son to his open house for preschool. We walk in, and the principal's there to greet all the children, and he meets my son and shakes his hand and starts talking to him. My son just wanders away, and my wife stops him. She goes, "He's talking to you." And my son goes, "I don't want to talk to him," and just kept walking. And my wife's like, "We have to stop him. Like, leave him alone. He has no obligation to talk to this man. None.
Motherfucker looks boring."
Yes. He actually looked like an extra from like Welcome Back, Kotter.
Oh wow! I'm fucking Welcome Back, Kotter. Jesus.
Yeah,
it's an old ass reference.
He even had the patches on his elbows on a coat that looked like it used to be grandma's couch. Yeah, he just looked like a douche. I didn't blame my son for not wanting to talk to him. I think the world would be a better place if people were honest more often.
Rex Wolf in the chat here saying he's like got fucking moonshine that's like up to like 190 proof. And I'm like, yeah, go ahead and send me some. It's like, I can't send it through the post. And it's like, yeah, oh yeah, no, I've never gotten liquor through the mail. Holy shit, that was my job for 2 years, for fuck's sake.
190 proof, Jesus.
I know. I mean, I'd probably use that to clean my counters, to be honest with you. But
you might as well just take your liver out.
I'll just keep it on hand to sterilize like necessary surgical instruments. It's like, well, do you plan on doing surgery? No, I also don't plan on drinking this right away. It's like I've got, I can get paint thinner at the hardware store. It's fine.
Oh.
I miss that. I do honestly miss my booze column though.
Booze column?
Oh, yeah, you don't know the monkey? Shit. 2 years I was a beer and liquor critic for everyjoe.com.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was in. Actually, I can thank Gamergate as a result of that, or for that being the result of well, a side effect of Gamergate.
They just decide because of Gamergate, people needed to know what to drink.
No. It was really funny because Bob Chipman, movie Bob, turned into this insufferable cunt. He was the movie critic. I think he was at The Escapist. And I pushed Lizzie Finnegan into getting into professional writing because she's a brilliant writer, but at the time she just thought she would maybe work at a fucking grocery store, some shit like that. But no, I mean, I pushed Lizzie Finnegan into going for it. She really went for it, and she fucking killed it. And then she became a senior editor there. But I discovered that the vice president of the parent company of The Escapist followed me on Twitter, and I followed him. And this is all because Gamergate. So I wrote to him one time and said, "Listen, I've been a journalist. I've written for multiple websites. I'm also an actor and a cinephile. Would you like a film critic to replace Bob Chipman?" And he writes back to me. And at the time I was working at that beer shop, and I was getting into craft beer, and I was learning about what good beer is and what makes it good. And he writes back to me and he says, "Well, I've got a lot of movie critics, but I looked over your shit and you seem to be really into beer. Would you like to be a beer critic?" So yeah, nice. How do you say no? And then I get put in touch with the editor, and they say, "What's your rate?" And my God, I mean, what the fuck how do you answer a question of someone who's asking, "How much do you think we should pay you to drink?"
Well, it depends on what they're making you drink, I guess.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, pretty much it was a low ball at the time. It was 25 an article, right? Mm-hmm. And I started out with 4 a week, and it was just beer. But then these liquor companies, because they were represented by the same PR firms as the beer companies, started sending me bottles of like $200 scotch and shit, right? And so I'm like, can I get a fifth column? 5 a week? Does that work? And they were like, "Yeah, that's fine." So it ended up being like, a solid 500 a month, just for writing 500 to 800 word articles on my drinking habits and my opinions of certain things. And I actually learned the art of criticism, because when it comes to beer, right, the beer world itself is, as far as industries go, as far as like, as far as industries go, it's one of the most friendly and welcoming things you will ever encounter. You don't get any fucking there's no real competition as it is. The only competition is big beer like Anheuser-Busch, because they are constantly trying to buy up or destroy anyone who threatens any market share. But the craft beer world, if you take Founders Brewing out of Michigan, for instance, they routinely every year they fly out to I think it's San Diego to go and hang out with the brewers at Stone Brewing, who are technically competitors, right?
Right.
And they will spend, if you watch their social media, Founders will spend an entire week just talking about how awesome Stone's beer is. You'll never see Coke talking about how great
Pepsi is. Yeah,
exactly. And when you're in this kind of industry, it was funny, as a critic, I'd get my hands on this really weird IPA, let's say, and I wouldn't like it, but I would realize I didn't like it because my particular taste didn't care for what this thing was offering, but I would also recognize what it was offering. And so my review would be if you are the type who likes these things like I do, this is probably not for you. But if you like this kind of, very piney thing, for instance, then this is probably something you would enjoy. And the criticism was less about tearing things down and more about, just recommending what it is to the kinds of people who might like it.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's especially in a world where everybody's as supportive of each other in the smaller craft world. I can see that.
Yeah, and that's the thing, though. I mean, a well-made beer that you don't like is still better than no beer at all.
So I'm not a beer drinker, never have been. There's 2 things everybody except me seems to like, and it's beer and coffee, and I don't like either because they're bitter as fuck.
Oh, my friend, no, listen, I could find you a beer you would like. I guarantee you that.
See, everybody tells me that, and then I try and like, no, I still taste beer.
I'm a professional, man. Trust me.
I will stick to my Cuervo and Jack Daniels. I'm fine.
Cuervo and Jack Daniels, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I know exactly what you would like then.
I like to start the night with Cuervo, not because I like the taste of Cuervo, but because once you've taken a shot, you can drink anything for the rest of the night and you're not going to taste it. And that's how I started drinking, because I wasn't a big drinker. So that first time, if you start drinking at 30, it's not the same as if you start drinking at 15 because all your buddies are doing it.
That's fair.
I was already set in my ways, and it was like, hey, that tastes like shit. I don't want to drink any more of that. And I discovered the whole tequila trick.
Okay. So it's purely about, like, if you drink, it's purely about the alcohol.
Yes, it is.
That's fair. But I still bet I could find a beer that you would like.
You're gonna have to try.
I would guess, actually, you know what I bet? Let me think. You would like. Yeah, I bet you would. Yeah, you would like a maple brown ale that has been aged in bourbon casks.
See, that sounds good, but that doesn't sound like beer to me.
It is beer. No, this is what beer really is. Like, that's the thing about beer. When I say I could find you a beer that you would like, there are beers. There's a style of beer. It's actually starting to really grow in popularity. It's a sour, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these things taste like, you'll get a beer that will taste like sour grapes, but in a good way. You can only take small sips of it usually, because it's like, whoa, that's a punchy flavor, and it's 9% alcohol. And yeah, it's the funny thing about this is another thing I love about beer and brewing, like the brewing world and the beer world, is that the creativity that goes into it is it's artistry. It's whatever you can think of. There's a brewery in Concord, New Hampshire. It was started by two friends of mine who I knew from working from the shop, and they're both beer, like BJCP official beer judges, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these guys were they put they dreamed of being brewers forever. They were home brewers for the longest time. And then they rented out a commercial space and they started a brewery, and it's been going really well. It's called Litherman's Limited, and every one of their beers they name and design on a music theme, right? So there's Simply Red, Little Miss Strange. Fuck, I can't even remember what the rest of them are at this point. But so they got these, they got all these lines out. And when Prince died, I wrote to the brewmaster Michael, and I'm like, so what are you doing to honor Prince? And he's like, oh, I was thinking like a plum or a prune saison. So I'm like, you're going with Purple Rain? He's like, yeah. I'm like, why don't you do a raspberry saison?
Yeah, no doubt.
And call it Raspberry Beret. That way people will know you actually listened to Prince before he died. Well, here's the thing, like a saison, for instance, right? It's it's French for season. It's a Belgian style beer. It's made in the south. It was traditionally made in the south of Belgium, and it was a beer that was. It's like any other really good food or anything fun. It comes from something that was made for the peasantry.
Oh yeah,
yeah. They'd mass produce this really sunny, like crisp wheat beer. Effectively, it was a Belgian style wheat beer, and Belgian yeast has a very specific flavor to it. Well, very many specific flavors, but their yeast it's their thing. But so they would make this beer in bulk for the farmhands and the working class, so that they could drink it over the summer, because the summer would be too hot to really brew a decent beer with this yeast. And it's so light in its flavor. It's like light and kind of crisp, but kind of weedy and kind of a little tiny bit fusel, but just enough to the point where if you add a flavor like raspberry to it, it just comes alive. It's delicious. And and as it turns out, Raspberry Beret has been a seasonal hit ever since.
Did they give you a cut?
No, but they are gonna actually let me. Basically, they're gonna teach me to brew. So like, I'll come up with the kind of beer I want, and then they'll show me how it's made, and they'll make sure I don't fuck it up. And then we're gonna make that, and then as long as I can come up with a musical reference, I will have my own beer soon.
Sweet.
Yeah. So when I run for office, I can just make sure that I remind everyone, like, yeah, hey, this beer is in no way a violation of FEC rules.
Oh my God, she is still.
Need to get that girl on some Beethoven, dude.
Huh?
Beethoven. That's what works with my granddaughter.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, she starts. Not what it is she's sleeping out in the living room, where my girlfriend's in the chair out there next to her. So it's kind of like you got to keep it quiet. And I honestly feel like the quiet is what's doing it.
Oh, it will.
I think like the quiet from, even though like we have a glider for her, like a
Oh,
it's on. I think that it's like, I think the quiet's what's doing it to her.
Yeah. No, you know what? You should. Yeah. I mean, if not Beethoven, also the classic crooners.
Oh yeah.
Like, if you put Sinatra on at like a low volume, worked every time with my niece.
You know who my granddaughter has loved since she was that size, and this is, I swear to God, Twisted Sister.
Well, she'll sleep through like loud movies, so like loud noises don't bother her. And if none of this works, the next step is going to be literally just getting her car seat and putting her in her car seat.
That's the weird thing about like babies. Like when Quinn was a little bit older than that, I brought her, and it was in this city too, but we brought her down to the riverside with the fireworks. And the riverside fireworks, like, you're right under the bridge that they set them off on. So these things are like, they sound like mortar shells going off right in front of you. And this kid slept through, like, straight through it, like it wasn't even happening.
Yeah, no, she'll sleep through, like, we took her to Five Guys on, like, when she was like 2 days old or whatever. No, we went out there with family that was visiting and slept through the entire time.
Always tilt.
For the people in chat wondering, yes, I'm 42. I'm old as hell.
42 with grandchildren.
Yes. That's because I started early, not because my children did. Yeah.
He's like, I'm renting Monkey, and I just like to fuck.
True story. Yeah. Well, this is going to sound sad at first, but mom died when I was 14, and when you go through that young, people turn to drugs or alcohol or whatever. I turned to sex. There's worse ways you could have gone.
No, actually, I mean, shit, dude. I mean, what was it? I watched, actually, it was funny. I watched this Netflix comedy special, Russell something or other. This not Russell Brand, but he's a British comic. He was talking about actually how, like, and Matt, I'm sorry, as you hold your infant daughter, that you need to realize this is the current state of things. In the future will be worse. But he was talking about how, like, kids these days, he's like, they are so fucked up. What is it, like 1 out of 3 of them, when they lose their virginity, they film it. Right?
Oh dear Lord.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, and they love the fucking facials and shit. That's fucking wrong. Like, honestly, it shouldn't be fucking terrible for her. It should be terrible for the both of you when you lose your virginity. That's a fair point.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, like, her father is, a YouTube personality. So.
Oh, well, no, you know what's going to happen, though, is, like, the children of those of us who've decided to make livings doing this kind of weird shit, they're going to, like, their act of rebellion. Yeah, Russell Howard. Thank you, BG Corporation. That was exactly, yeah, Russell Howard. If you guys get a chance to, yeah, Entropy, you got it too. Go and check out Russell Howard's special on Netflix, because it's a fucking hilarious thing. But no, I mean, it would be great. It'll be funny to see, like, the grand acts of rebellion being like, I'm gonna not just fuck the first person I'm in a high school relationship with. I'm actually gonna, I'm gonna go to college and get a job. I'm gonna learn a trade. Fuck you, you fucking parents of mine. I'm gonna rebel by learning a trade and raising a family.
My dad was on YouTube. I'm gonna be Amish.
Exactly.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me if she like did the exact opposite. She's all like, "Fuck social media, man. I ain't doing none of that shit. I'm just gonna like fucking, etch a sketch and chill."
Dude, I'll tell you honestly, like my brother is like, my brother and I were both raised in chaos, right? This is like, I mean, a guy like me this doesn't happen by osmosis. We were both raised in absolute fucking chaos. We went different ways. Like I just embraced the chaos and became what I am, and now I do YouTube for a living, and you can't get more fucking chaotic and uncertain than that. He doesn't do social media. He doesn't give a fuck about what anybody thinks or cares about. Yo, you got an ideology? You got this dumb fuck idea? Yeah, you're probably wrong. I'm not even gonna bother figuring out why. I'm not gonna bother. He's an electrician, owns a beautiful home with a lovely spread of land, has a beautiful and fucking like the most wonderful woman as a wife. They're gonna have a family, and he spends his days doing shit like meeting with his like friends who are his neighbors from down the street, and they go four-wheeling and they go out and do shit and they live real lives. And that's like a dying art in this world because everyone is so, they see this opportunity for fame and acceptance via the internet, and they rush to it and they lose themselves in it. And when I look at my brother and I see the kind of shit that he does for himself and for the family that he'll have, I am like, you are a much smarter man than I could ever be.
Well, see, and the thing is, though, the people who do that kind of stuff will sometimes look at what we do and think that we're the lucky ones,
Oh, he doesn't.
So it's, well, some people, I've met people who have like that do that kind of real world stuff. And then, I'll be talking and they're like, "Oh, I wish I could do what you do. I wish I could live the life you live." And I'm just like, really?
What's like, dude, that's like the central thrust of my like channel recently has been about exploring the trade-offs in the world that we've created. And that really, and it's a funny thing because like I did a video recently about the isolation of art. And that was really kind of inspired by, regular car reviews.
No.
I sent you this video actually over Discord. And he did that video, The Social Isolation of YouTube.
I think I saw you sent it to me. I haven't watched it yet.
No, it's fine. And keep in mind, it's not some super depressing thing. He's well written, brilliantly spoken. But there is a certain thing like he talks at one point in this, it's a video essay effectively. And he talks at one point, he says, he remembers like a year ago, because this was like the 1-year anniversary of him doing YouTube full time. And he talks about how he remembers like a year ago, he would be sitting in traffic on his way to his job. And he would look around at the other people stuck in traffic and he'd think to himself, haha, suckers, soon you'll be stuck in this rat race and I'll just be making content and I'll be my own boss and it'll be great. And then a year on, he like finds himself looking at lines of traffic, wishing he had somewhere to go. Like it's like he kind of bemoans. He's like, I guess I could go up to New York and see the guys from Jalopnik, but I'm not sure I'd have much else to say after saying, "Hey, how you doing? What are you up to?"
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's really worth it. And it's a funny thing. It's the nature of like, and I had a conversation with a patron of mine recently who he's really deep in the Chicago art scene. And he's an artist himself. And when it comes to like creative endeavor, when your focus is going to be that of creating things to entertain or inform or whatever, when your creative personality, the kind of isolation that is required for you to actually dedicate yourself to that is something that comes with trade-offs that a lot of people who dream about being their own boss in that way don't really recognize until they get there.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm coming up on about 6 years of doing this channel, and April will be 3 years of doing it full time. And at this point, I look for like any excuse to go hang out with people.
Tilt.
What?
making sure there's no air going there.
No,
Do you ever miss the regimen of
No.
an exterior schedule?
No.
You lived your whole fucking life doing that, you know.
Well, I miss the
no.
I should say the security. I don't know if security, but like the
stability.
The stability of being around other people that I like.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, you have a place to be, you have a place to go, you know what you're doing, you know the people who will be there, and you know, and especially if you get along with coworkers and shit, like you have a stable social environment, and it's there, and you go to it, and it's not perfect, and maybe you're not thrilled with it, and maybe you're probably better off in some ways without it, but it's a funny thing I find sometimes. I sort of miss, I think back to when I used to do like construction, and I miss being obligated to get up at a ridiculously early hour, go and get breakfast, and then pick up a sledgehammer and then like tear a fucking building down to its frame. And that's my day. And then I get out, and the rest of my time, the notion of free time at that point becomes so valuable. But when all you have is creative time, it all feels like free time unless you can really regimen yourself. But even when you do, you still have to, it's still on you.
Yeah.
And there is something kind of lost, I feel, in that.
Most people, and this is my experience, need somebody to set a schedule for them, and not necessarily your whole day, but your work schedule, especially. I've seen so many people who do what we do, and you'll see them start off strong, and then they just stop making content because, there's nobody making them do it. And I remember
that's the hardest part for me.
Yeah.
Is like I'll be like, okay, so I work better under a timetable, right? Like I always work better under when I'm rushed for time. But like when, like I wake up in the morning, like before her, I'd wake up in the morning around probably 9. The girlfriend would be at work until about 4, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. I got 7 hours to do what the fuck I want. So I'd hang out, watch a little TV, play some video games, and maybe around like 1 or 2, I'd start work.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, but then I'm always rushing to get done by the time she gets home. Whereas if I would just get up in the morning and start at a scheduled time, it'd be so much easier. But then it's like, there's days where I'm like, I don't really feel like I want to do this right now. That choice is what kills me.
I can kind of, it's funny. I can kind of blame you, well, in a positive way here. Well, no, it was funny. I mean, like after like when we hung out at VidCon, for instance, like that was the first time I'd ever had anyone talk to me about like taking YouTube professionally, let's say, right? Because everybody else, I mean, let's be honest, even when it comes to like Sargon, for instance, right? Like Sargon has, he rides his thing. He has his thing, but he produces as he likes to. It's more about what comes to his mind than keeping with a schedule. When talking with you, you treat YouTube more like a business than many other YouTubers that I know. Now, it was funny because like the last few months have been a bit rugged for me. Like when the girl left, I had, you go into the depression spiral and all that shit. And one of the things that I turned to, I was like, well, fuck, I've got this fucking great career and I need to do more with it. And I thought about like the kind of things you were constantly saying about what's about producing content that is relevant and that people want and identifying audience, all that shit, right? And I'm like, yeah, all right, you know what? I'm going to fucking redouble my efforts and make this fucking thing mine in the best way possible. And as soon as I did that, the big fucking scandal blows up. And I'm like, well, fuck me. Well, there goes that fucking shit. All right, goodbye.
Well, everything, but everything's on a rubber band, right?
Oh, no, it is. It is. It was just, it's almost funny because like it was in many ways sort of like a lesson in stoicism in respect to also like, if you are going to be in this kind of industry as it was, if you're going to be a creative professional in any respect, you need to be ready to weather some storms.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you are ready to take it seriously, that is when the world you are trying to really make your own is going to shit on your face. And unless you're German, that's not fun.
Well, I'm pretty sure the last German that got shit on his face didn't really care for it either.
Well,
Kraut, stupid asshole.
Oh, sorry, I thought that was going to be an Angela Merkel joke.
No, I'm talking about Kraut.
It's just their culture, and we need to accept it. Oh no, honestly, like I've actually, and I'll go on record saying this publicly because I've already said it privately, and it's true. I plan on trying to take a trip to Europe over this year. I've got it planned. I'm going to try crowdfunding it because I'm going to document it and turn it into basically a proper documentary. But when I get to, I will find Kraut. And because in spite of I feel more bad for him than anything else, not because of what happened, but because whatever the fuck kind of mental issues that drove him to that and that he's suffering now, that shit is going to destroy him. But I owe him a solid fucking dick punch. And he will get that dick punch. And I've already told him this too. I'm like, I'm coming to Europe at some point. If we cross paths, and it would be nice to see you and have a beer. I owe you a serious fucking punch in the dick because you fucked up and you fucked me over, and I had nothing to do with that shit. And he's like, I accept this. I'm like, okay. All right. Well, you accept it.
Are you going to document that? Because I think many people out there want to see
it.
Yeah.
That will go viral.
What? You think I'm actually going to go on a fucking multi-leg trip through Europe and then find Kraut and T, who is and again, he's a fucking. This is one of those things. Like, if it was in court, I would genuinely think an insanity plea would be best because I remember what the dude was like, right? Like, I remember talking to him a few times in this period, and he was unfucking hinged. Like, he was fucking lost. And I was like, I remember, and there's been a number of times I've been telling him, get off the internet. Go eat some food, good food. Go have sex with a woman. Go out into the world and do something. Get the fuck off of the internet. Yeah, he's getting a serious fucking dick punch, at the least.
Deservedly so.
And I will offer that to him as a concerned friend. I'll be like, I hope you're faring well with all of this shit that's been going on and that you've gotten the help that you need. Now, just take a deep breath. This is gonna hurt.
And then just go, Hadouken.
Yeah. Oh, Rex Wolf is saying I'm going to get banned from the EU before I get there. No, listen, I have just said on public record that I'm going to punch Kraut and T in the dick. I'm pretty sure Angela Merkel at this point is going to give me my own Airbnb in whatever German fucking palace there is. I think you could do better than a crowdfunding trip to go cock punch Kraut and T than to produce
you could, probably.
I mean, well,
you can just go on Warski Live and pitch the idea or go on the Kumite.
Oh yeah, I love the idea of jumping on Moripovich. The Kumite. No, it's funny. I've actually gotten that. Like, I was getting that in your chat last night. Like, are you going in the Kumite? It's like, well, no. I'd rather shit my hand and clap, to be honest.
They tried. I said no the last week, and then honestly, people were sending me video clips from I guess today's stream of them of even V talking shit about me. I'm all like, really, V?
Honestly, it's like, you know what? Like, I'm not even gonna blame a motherfucker for their own fucking hustle. You know, like if screeching about people is your thing, okay. Yeah. I mean, shit. It took me until last summer to say I'm all done with these fucking lame ass response videos of what fucking, oh, who can I make fun of now? No, fuck that shit. That's not what I got into YouTube to do. And then when it's like, hey, you're gonna come on this stream where you can defend yourself while people fucking talk shit, why? Listen,
yeah, exactly.
I got past high school. I even went to college. We stopped doing that. We weren't even doing that in college. Fuck, why would I want to do that now? And yeah, you know what? If that's their hustle and it's working for them, fucking good on them. That shit's it's got a fucking shelf life. That's just
it's got a faster shelf life than anti-SJW videos, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing. Anti-SJW videos, fuck. We really got launched we really, you know, that whole thing really got launched via Gamergate, and then after that, because of like some of the shit that was going on in academia, there was the ability to tie a sort of intellectual academic tie to it. But after that, fuck, what was left? I mean, what's left? How many times can a person tell Riley Dennis that they're stupid in public?
A lot. Well, yeah. When's the last time Riley
Dennis make a whole channel just responding to Riley?
Well, no, there are people who've actually made entire fucking careers just doing that. But the thing is like, one thing I've learned, and I think, Matt, you'll probably agree about this, is that when it comes to, like, you know, we'll call it YouTube, but let's be honest, it's just new media in general. There's a difference between growing an audience and cultivating an audience.
Yeah.
Because when you grow one, I mean, Kraut and Tea is a great example, right? Even beyond, even before this recent debacle of him trying to be some megalomaniacal fucking, like, you know, operational guy. You know, I mean, so like his channel exploded overnight. Like he was over 100,000 subscribers in under a year. And it was funny because, I mean, that kind of came out of I kind of had a hand in that. When I found him, he was in my subscriber list. I had about 3,000 subscribers. I think he had like 1,200 at the time. And people kept recommending, saying, check out Kraut and Tea. And I went and checked it out. And I thought his videos were like articulate, well spoken. He was well researched. You know, I liked his early shit. And I'm like, yeah, let's stream. And I got him to stream with Sargon back in the day when Sargon would return my calls. But yeah, and like, you know, and they streamed together, and then after that he got into some fight with like TJ, and he went on Drunken Peasants to like bash Islam, yeah. And after that, he was off to the races. Now, he grew really, really fast, but the first hint of trouble, like when he came up against Devin Tracy, I remember him freaking out, thinking his channel was dead because he was losing all kinds of subscribers because the shared audience that they had was splitting. And then even after that, like he kept, like, you know, he would always have this, like, he'd always have these freakouts and he'd be losing subscribers. And it would be like, well, that wasn't really a core audience. That's not an audience that's going to stick with you. Then they're not concerned. They don't give a fuck about what you're saying. They're subscribed to you because you are part of this network that they want to see. Mm-hmm. And when I mean, recently, like, yeah, I mean, I've lost a fuck ton of subscribers for not even doing anything, for basically refusing to play a game that was being perpetuated by insipid children. And
people have been trying to throw my Social Blade numbers in my face recently.
No, yeah, mine are garbage too. Mine are garbage too. But the funny thing is, though, is that it's been like, it's funny because as that's been going on, without even doing or mentioning anything, my own core audience has made a very very strong point of coming out and saying, like, I value what you fucking do. And when you have people who value the things that you do come to you and say, listen, please don't give a shit about what these other people are saying. I value it, and please value like the fucking amount of like trust and interest that I've put in you. Like, value what it is that I've given to you. And when you have an audience come to you and say that kind of thing, like, listen, we love what you do. Please keep doing what you do for us because we're the ones who want to matter. It's like, well, fuck me. I mean, if there's one thing, like, you know, I've had people like, shut your channel down. You're fucking done. You fucking cock. You got totally fucking pwned and shit. It's like, well, I'm sorry, dude.
I've been hearing that for years, you know?
Yeah,
what I tell people.
Yeah, your shitty English, your shitty English comment here really doesn't stack up to the kind of shit that the people who give a fuck have said.
Well, so, like, yeah, I get that all the time, and so people will be like, "Your fucking channel's dying." I'm like, "No, it's still doing okay." You know, like, I still average between like 60 to 75,000 views a day. I mean, like, yeah, it's not as big as other channels, but you know, at the same time, it's pretty fucking steady. So I have a pretty core audience of people that are dedicated, that watch every day. So that's fine. And that's fantastic. And I'm very appreciative of that. But I always tell people, I'm like, look, if you really hate what I do and hate me as a person, which is fine, I invite you, grab a camera, get a microphone, beat me at my own game.
Oh, I love people who hate watch me. I still have a few. I've kicked a few of the more annoying hornet's nests here on YouTube. My first one was MGTOW. I didn't even know what the hell I was getting into with them. I just happened to come across.
MGTOWs like me for some reason. They like me well enough. I don't fuck with them. They don't fuck with me. We have similar interests in some regards.
Well, apparently a lot of MGTOW had watched me, and I made my angry MGTOW video, and a whole bunch of people got mad at me. But I still have people from that original angry MGTOW video who watch all of my shit just to tell me how much they hate me. And it's like, thank you. Well, don't forget to buy a shirt. And then the vegan one. The vegans were the worst.
The vegans are always the worst.
Hang on. Can you say on the record vegans were worse than MGTOWs?
Vegans are worse than MGTOWs, yes. Yeah, my favorite part of that, I actually did a debate with Vegan Gains, and I debate one of two ways. I will either debate you honestly, have a friendly discussion.
Monkey. I mean, I respect you too much to let you get away with it. Please,
wait.
Correct term. We don't have. There are no debates on the internet. There are arguments.
Arguments.
Yeah.
Okay, we can have a difference of opinion and discuss them together. How about that? And then if you come at me, say Kumite style, I'm just going to get in the mud with you because I actually enjoy that as well. And that's what mine and Vegan Gains was. It was just a shit show from start to finish.
It's a funny thing. I used to really enjoy that. I genuinely did. I loved just jumping like neck deep in the shit and just fighting it out. Right. I think these days I'm just tired of it. And especially, because like the people I used to do that with were like, I mean, I argued with fucking state senators and politicians and shit. And then to get to a point where it's like, oh, we'll go on, you need to go on this show. Like, well, what's the show and who's hosting it and what's the point? And it's like, oh, it's just this dude. He's just this dude. He's like this, he thinks of everything like it's a fucking wrestling match. No, I'm sorry. That doesn't interest me, especially when it's somebody who, to be honest, I mean, I promoted the living fuck out of Cunt Stream whenever I could. On Saints beforehand, and then to see okay, so these are the kinds of this is the kind of action you can expect from these people. There was no attempts at direct communication. No one ever reached out outside of one time when it was, hey, do you want to come on a stream? And that was just one of these like insipid blood sport bullshit streams. And when it gets to that point, right, when you've spent enough time actually arguing genuine things like policy with people who are involved in making policy, and then you're expected to just jump in for some like $150 into like a clickbait stream to hear a bunch of shrieking queens bash you and make fun of your appearance in regards to a tabloid matter you had nothing to do with.
What's really funny about that too is then the other people who watch those streams and then segment off portions of that, tag you in it, and then post it to their channel in order to perpetuate the drama for clicks.
Yeah, I know. And well, it's here's the thing I love too is like when all this recent shit started up, everyone was trying to say, oh, this isn't just for clicks and super chats. No, it's not for that, right? Except I have even got a fucking screenshot of and I'm not even gonna name names here, but I've got a screenshot and it was on Twitter publicly. Somebody referring to, you should have gone the money way on this. Oh, okay, so we're still going to be calling this a matter of integrity. It's honestly like before the YouTube thing, I used to go on podcasts, like I said, and argue with smart people about things that mattered. And I got bored of that. And to think that it's worth the time. And this is the thing that makes me sad when I consider what the YouTube audience is, because it was bad enough when I'd have to pick the cringe of the week and I'd have to spend like an afternoon looking through the trending section of YouTube to see what it was people were actually quote unquote interested in watching. and then just see what the supposedly intellectual side, the one that debates ideas, we oppose this and that idea because we're too smart for this dumb shit, and then to see what has arisen out of that.
Yeah, I'll be right back. She's still fussing.
Yeah, it's basically like watching NASCAR evolve out of Nova. It's terrible. And so, and for people to be surprised that people might not have any interest in engaging in it, it's just kind of mind blowing to me.
I don't have any. Anytime somebody decides that they want to come at me, and if I'm some kind of coward or something, if I won't, it brings me great joy to ignore them, because I know it gets under their skin more than it gets under mine.
Yeah, it's like you're like, well, also you I mean, like at 43, I mean, like I'm gonna be 35 in August, and I'm thinking like, I think mine might be the last generation to have any kind of semblance of an idea of what being an adult is actually like.
Oh, I can be as childish as fuck, and like I said, that's why
being childish as fuck is one thing, but being aware that you're being a child, like, you know,
yes, exactly.
If it's a conscious decision for you, it's a bit different than what we're going to be looking at 10 years from now.
This is all public, so I mean, I'm not talking out of school here. Tonka got really mad at me because I called him a drama whore on Twitter, and then I started referring to him as T Sparkle, as in Joy Sparkle BS, and he spent a whole day fuming about it, and I couldn't go on to his channel to argue with him because I was actually out of town. But as soon as I got back, I'm like, all right, dude, let's do this. And we had just a horrible screaming at each other match, and I enjoyed it. I did. He repeatedly lied in there. You know, Mr. I'm not lying is wrong. Repeatedly lied in there. He actually said that he follows me closely on Twitter, and he's seen me make kumbaya posts about how we shouldn't fight. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? You've never seen me do that, because I've never done that. And it was just this huge production for him. And I understand it. I do. It's when you name your show after a cheesy 80s Van Damme movie, you're not really to be taken seriously.
I'm pretty sure that wasn't the Kumite is a real thing, isn't it?
Whoa, the Kumite, the only Van Damme here. Okay, that movie is fucking awesome.
I love Bloodsport, but Bloodsport is a cheesy fucking movie.
Oh, it's a cheesy, wonderful film.
It's a wonderfully cheesy movie, though. That's the thing.
But it is still a cheesy movie, and
no, I know. No, I mean, like, no, I mean, honestly, though, I mean, forming of a fucking media persona around the you know, the
you are breaking up real bad, dude.
Something like that. It's, I mean, yeah, it'll work, but I mean, sure,
it's going to be short-lived. It has been anytime it's been tried in any kind of media, and good for them. I'm happy for them that it's working out for now. It's not something that I would indulge, but
well, I mean, that's been the thing. That's been the thing that's been knocking me around the most about this, right? Because since the summer, right? Since, especially after VidCon, but generally since the summer, my interest in like the insipid e-politics of, you know, of the alt-right, of SJWs, Black Lives Matter, all this shit, right? I'm not interested in it.
Nick, you're breaking up real bad, dude. Can barely tell what you're saying.
Yeah, you are. You
Oh, and shit, I have the little one here, so she is waking up. I am gonna have to go, guys.
All right, I gotta do the same, but before you guys go, I want to show you guys something. So a few months ago, I made a video, or I talked about on a stream, about Hidden Valley Ranch offering up pony cakes of Hidden Valley Ranch. They're $50. So I told people, if you want me to get it, super chat me $50. They did.
Oh dear God!
I would love that. The other day, it's not full right now; it's empty. But this is a mini keg.
Wait, you already emptied it?
No, God, no! I haven't even no. I got all the ranches over there. But yeah,
that is awesome. But I do have to go get her. I will talk to you guys.
No, I'll be back on tomorrow night because I have to do this again. I think she finally is getting down, but I should go and try to get some sleep too. But we'll keep this conversation going later on.
7:30 in the morning for me. So yeah, I think I probably ought to go.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you later on, Nick. Thanks for coming in, man. Everyone else, thank you very much for chilling for like 4 hours. Had a lot of fun, good conversations. We'll do this again tomorrow night. Hopefully that girl will get a little bit more sleep. I'm hoping I can go to bed myself. But thank you very much. It means a lot to me. You guys hung out, the 100+ of you that are here right now, and I'll talk to you all later. Have a good one.